You're good.
Still thinking, but I tested this like 5 times earlier and it should be okay. All right, so the live is live, but it should not be live. Can anyone confirm?
Confirmed.
Thank
It's
you.
not. Yeah.
I'm refreshing and it looks good.
Thank you, everybody. So that's first thing down. I got to figure out how to use Zoom. All right, so I do have like a couple notes of things that I do want to touch on. So I do thank everybody for coming here. There's a lot of familiar faces. I do appreciate that. It's going to be a rocky road the next couple of days, so please bear with me. I need to get everything figured out. I am not a Zoom professional. I am a Zoom noob. So we just figured out how to go live without it being live on YouTube, which is great. I also have figured out a 24-hour room, which we are going to have as like a coworker room, and that is going to be this room. And that is going to be this room. For those who were in the other group, they know that I run a very tight ship. I am very serious. For those of you who are here brand new, while I appreciate you being brand new, this is not a playground. This is not a romper room. There are no shenanigans. I run a very tight ship. Thirdly, and most importantly, I will not comment at all on the situation with Chris. I will never speak ill of Chris. Never. I will never let anybody else speak ill of him here either. I think Chris is a good person. But due to everything that is going on, I cannot and will not discuss it. And I know you guys have always been very respectful of me. I know you guys have always conducted yourself in a very respectful manner in the previous group. And I hope that you have enough respect to not talk about Chris in any unprofessional manner. Like I said, I like Chris. I think Chris is a good guy. If anyone sees any kind of posts of any kind of negativity at all, report it. If someone is being rude, report it. If anyone sees posts regarding Chris, report it. That's not what we are here for. People are free to be a part of this group. People are free to be a part of Chris's group or any other group out there. If people want to be a coach in this group and run this group's calls, they are free to run a call in any other group that they wish to do. I am not against Chris. This is not a competition. This is not a competing group. You guys know that I am very competitive, but this is not that. I am in no way, shape, or form competing with him. I think that group is a beautiful place. I think it has the most amount of information compiled anywhere on the internet. And I think that it is a very beautiful community. A couple more things is that this was not like a large plan or anything like that. I don't even have a Patreon set up. There's a lot of moving parts. It's a very fluid situation. Like life is a very fluid situation. The coaching schedule will hopefully remain the same or very close to the same. I have not reached out to any coaches. A couple of them have contacted me. If they are here and wish to continue to be a part of this group, I'm going to set up a meeting with everybody and we're going to discuss everything and iron out the schedule. I hope to be back on schedule with the calls on Monday. I know how many people appreciate them and I know how many people work with those on their schedule. So I want to get back to that as soon as possible, most importantly. I'm going to do the morning call for this group until I find a replacement or maybe forever. I don't know. I'm going to do them at 9 a.m. my time, Eastern time, which will be 6 a.m. Pacific time. That is not to compete with Chris. Chris runs a fantastic morning call, but 8 a.m. is too early for me personally, and it's too early for people in California. That would be 5 a.m. And 10 a.m. is too late for everybody to get up and start their day. What I would suggest, since the calls are at the same time, if you are in both groups, I would suggest you listen to Chris's morning call. He runs a fantastic morning call, and you can listen to my call on the replay. That would be my official suggestion. I also plan to do this call at 7 p.m. on Tuesdays, as always. And as you guys know who have been in the previous group, I do them for 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 12 hours. If you guys have eBay questions, I will answer them until everybody is finished. I can't say or guarantee that I will do it every single Tuesday call, since I will be doing the morning call in addition. But if I'm not doing anything, I will do the Tuesday call at 7 p.m. every single week. But as you guys know, things are also changing for me in my life regarding my business and what's going on. So if I'm home and I'm not doing anything, I will do the morning call and in addition, Tuesday call at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We will also have a document. This room should remain open after we do this call, and it should remain open as a co-working space for 24 hours. I will respond to every single message in the Facebook group, every single post with a question in the Facebook group. As you guys know, I respond to every single question in the group, hundreds of questions every single day. It might not be the answer that you want, but it's the answer that you need. I do not baby bird information to anybody, but I help you learn so that you can learn for yourself and you will know forever. On the 1st or around the 1st, once Patreon gets set up, I will be removing everybody out of this group, and you will have to rejoin so that way I can develop a spreadsheet and get all of that figured out. I didn't want to start Patreon this week and then everybody gets double whacked. That's not what I'm here to do. If you're here for the long haul, pretty much this is how I roll. With that said, the format of this call is question and answer. If you guys have questions, I have answers. If you are here to learn about reselling and talk about reselling, you have come to the right place. For those of you that do not know me, I am not rude. Don't think that I am rude, but I am stern. I am concise. I speak in fact. I do not speculate unless I tell you that I am speculating. What we talk about here is not get rich quick. We talk about consistency, learning your craft, learning your niche, learning the platform that you sell on. There is no magic. So with that, I would like to open up for questions regarding the group first, and then we can go into eBay questions, just questions about the group. Again, leave Chris out of this. Let's all be professional. If you are not professional, I will get you up out of here. And keep the pleasantries to a minimum. You guys know how much I enjoy your pleasantries. So we don't need to start every single question with, hey, Tech, you're the... Just get to the point. We don't need the pleasantries. So questions about the group, and I'm still working them out. But I would like to provide as much information as I'm able to at this time. So with that said, Shane, question about the group going forward, please.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on just going Discord November 1st?
I have no thoughts on Discord right now. I need to figure out how to wrangle the Facebook group first and foremost. And I need to figure out, since my name is attached to this, I need to figure out what liability, if any, the Discord group would pose, because I know I can wrangle the Facebook group together. I know nothing about Discord, and I don't need memes posted over there or stuff going on that I'm not aware of. So at this point in time, I'm not sure.
From like, so you're talking about like from your ability to be like moderate content and control that kind of stuff, given your name.
Yeah, because Discord is a little less.
No, that makes sense.
it's more Wild Westy.
I
It's
get
more
it.
for the lulls. It's more for the memes. And for right now, let's just do one thing at a time until I can get something situated where I can get responsible people over there, because I don't know anything about Discord. I've never been on Discord. So
Enough.
for right now, let's just do one step at a time.
Makes perfect sense.
Thank you.
Goes without saying, if there's anything I can do to help kind of move things forward technology wise, feel free to reach out. We got your back.
Thank you.
You had a ton of value. So that's
Thank you.
all.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Shane. Hope you've been well. Hanley?
Is there going to be 100,000 call? Because that was like, for me, changed my business completely. And I'm obviously I'm devastated if that's gone.
I will continue to do the 100,000 call at the same time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keen?
Same question as one in the chat. Will there be that $99 tier moving forward?
I'll be honest, that was my least favorite call just because it moved too slow, but it did provide a lot of value for those people that did attend it. If people would like to have that, I will provide it. However, that was my least favorite one just because it was way too slow for me. I got to be moving, shaking. But I will do it if people do find value in it and people do want it. I will.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Johnny B.
Will it be different content than what we had in the other group? Like, you have any new things coming that this group's going to do differently, or in addition to, rather?
I am open to any and all ideas. However, that does not mean any and all ideas will be approved, but I am open to any and all ideas, and anything that is positive and productive and will help people. I am on board with it. And I am open to anything that's new. I do believe that we will still be able to have the morning call, my Tuesday call. We will have a women's clothing call and a fashion call. Michelle has already said she's going to do that. Cheryl contacted me and said she would like to do the bookkeeping call. We're going to have an Amazon call and a video game call. I've already been in contact with Jack. We will have a jewelry call. The book club, if you guys would like to do it, I am open to that. We will have a toy call. We will have a shoe sellers call. We will have media sellers. We will have car parts. We will have a jeans call. We will have a UK call. We will have an Australia sellers call if enough Australians sign up, which I think they probably will. We will also have a YouTube and social media call. The only calls that I'm not sure of is, I know the other group had a whatnot call, but I would really like to get a Poshmark call going by someone who knows Poshmark. And we need to get a beginner call wrangled up. Yes, an auto parts call. And any call in it, and I would also like to have a collectibles and antiques call if you guys would like to have that. And whatever you guys would like to have, I will. And we will have a card call if somebody would like to do it. If you are doing a call in the other group and you would like to do it over here, I am open to it. And if you would still like to do the call over there, I have no problems at all with that. And if there's any other call that you guys would like, I would like to facilitate it as long as it's in the best interest of everybody in the group. Freddie?
The Bolo stuff we were working on, that's we're researching. You were doing that too, right?
So I know Brett touched on the subject, and I think the way that he did it was very fair and very professional. People from that group worked on the Bolo or on the deep dive document. So Brett is going to post that portion over there, and he will also post it over here. So both groups will have access to the first month, and then after that, it will be over here.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Yep, thank you. Madra?
Hey Tech, I just wanted to tell you that I've had like several groups and you can't mass delete people. So you're probably going to have to just start a new group once you get people on Patreon or if something changed.
We'll get all that figured out. I do appreciate that, but
Yeah.
I am not a mass do anything. I will sit here with pleasure one at a time and
Oh,
delete each and every one of you.
okay. I just didn't want you to be like, how in the world am I going to do this? Okay.
No,
that's
I
it.
appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
Tech, it's Billy. I'm sorry, I can't figure out how to raise my hand, man.
No
Sorry.
problem.
Just
What's
wanted
up,
to
Billy?
let you know I'd be interested in doing it every other week, like as we do opposite weeks there,
Yep.
and maybe do opposite weeks over here. If you'd be interested in that, let me know.
I'm totally
love-
cool with that. And I am totally on board with how you run your call and how you conduct your business. And I would be happy to facilitate that for everybody.
Okay, I'll be in touch. Thank you.
Yeah. So for everyone who is interested in doing a call, I'll be in contact with everybody and we'll set a Zoom that works for hopefully everybody. And we'll get together and we'll iron all that stuff out. Joseph.
Oh, yeah, sorry, just unmuted myself there. Hey, Tech. Yeah, I messaged you earlier today about maybe starting a call. And I know that Jack is doing a great job about specifically video games. And my specialty is more video game consoles, accessories, controllers, and testing them, that kind of stuff. So just
Cool.
gauging interest. But if anyone would be interested in maybe breaking up the video game call a little bit, I think that'd be really fun. There's a lot of stuff to get into.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Definitely room for consideration. I do appreciate that one. Definitely. Thank you very much. And I'm going to write down all these ideas and we'll knock them all out. John.
I know that, sorry, I know in the past you had the original group with archive calls. Do you think it's possible in the future, once things settle down, that maybe you can put those archive calls in this new group that you had? I'm talking about the original group you had.
I remember.
I don't know if that's, I know you said in the past you had them like restored.
No, I still have them. They're saved on Facebook. I would have to download all of them. And it's kind of like a monumental task. So, while it's not out of the question, it's just like a matter of me having the time, taking the time to save like hundreds of multi-hour long calls, one thing at a time. But I do have access to them. All right. No more hands up or no more questions regarding how this place operates, or any questions, comments, or concerns. Ashley?
Can you very slowly, so I can write this down, tell me the filters on your Gmail again for your eBay?
So basically, whatever email you get from eBay that you don't want, pretty much copy and paste that into your filter. The title.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I know you just have the listed emails but not the sales ones, and I guess any other.
Yeah. Offers, return requests, cancellations, unpaid items. Congratulations, your item has listed. Those ones I keep. And any sort of resolution stuff.
Okay. All right. I got that then. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. There's, I guess, quite a bit of questions in the chat. I'll knock those out. Bridget said, well, we have access to the previous Tuesday calls that I did. At this time, no. I was a contractor for the group, so those items are not mine. They are of the group. I don't own the group. I don't have any sort of ownership stake in the group. Chris, I believe, said he was going to remove them. So whatever he decides to do with those is ultimately on him. But we will just start our own document. I mean, it's not going to take long to fill that thing up. But it's all good. The zip code call and the hat call, stuff like that. I actually have recordings of those already for myself, because I recorded those and then uploaded them. So I can upload those into this side, no problem. Bruce, while I'm catching up in the chat.
As far as the 100K call, are you starting from the beginning of what you track, or if not, is there a way to know what you kept track of, what you asked to kind of catch up through that way?
Yeah, so I have all the notes on my end from the 100K call, and for the 100K call, nothing is going to change about that. I'm going to keep it closed until January 1st because I don't want to keep rehashing and keep going backwards. We have a great group of people. We're going to charge forward. And we had already discussed this 2 or 3 weeks ago on that call, and I'm going to open that call up every quarter because we just got to all keep moving forward and, you know, not stay stationary. Taylor?
I'd love to hear your thoughts about keywords and title structure updated as of 2023 October. I think on the podcast you had talked with Michelle that keyword structure changes sometimes. eBay sometimes changes the title structure, and I loved the title structure call. I'm curious to your updated expert opinion on title structure.
Good one. And I will definitely add that to the list.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so Jen said she is new. The main place to communicate daily, you can post anything that you want in the Facebook group. We will also have this Zoom room, which will run 24 hours a day, which you can jump into and ask any sort of questions that you want. And then the membership will be on Patreon. I will do an annual membership that does have a price break. There will be no increase in price, as you guys know. Like $1 a day like separates seriousness from the Yahoos. And from everybody who was in the original group, for the next 7 days, there might be some Yahoos because it's the Wild West right now. So just keep moving forward. We will get all of that situated and taken care of. There might be some Yahoos for the next couple of days, but we'll get all that taken care of. Fino?
Yeah, just a quick question about the Zoom. Like today, I think it was only 300 people were allowed to come in. Is that typical on Zoom? Do I got to like camp out or?
Nah, I think that's just going to be for the first time. I think when I was doing the calls over there, the most people I had was 150. But unfortunately, after 300, it goes into enterprise and they don't even tell you the price for that. So like, that's like for Google. So if it does become an issue, which I do not foresee it becoming an issue, there's just a lot of excitement right now. I don't think it will be an issue at all. If it does become an issue, then I guess I will have to contact Zoom and get the Google special and sign up to whatever those guys have going on. But I think this is just a one-time thing.
Cool. All right.
If it is an issue, I will do something about it. And everything is always recorded as always. Thomas, please.
Did you intentionally pick a weak ass name, or is that just your nature?
Okay. Beth. And for those who don't know Thomas, that's Thomas.
To know him is to love him. I had two questions that are about listing things. One is you talked about tartan plaid on, I don't know, last week or something. And I did a strange thing, which is I went into my active listings and I searched everything with the word tartan to see if I had used it, and everything I had that was plaid came up, but I didn't have tartan in the title. Do you think that eBay is doing that now, that they're smart? They got smart?
They probably know it is a plaid.
Okay.
Yeah, they probably know. So if you go to if you go to eBay main search and you type it in, I
Mhm.
guess see if other plaids come up or
Yeah.
listings come up that do not contain the word in the title or anywhere in the item specifics.
Okay. All right. And then my other question was, I posted a thing in the other Facebook group, and I don't know if it got lost in the fray or if I didn't make it clear that it was a question, but I was asking about Adidas key roll-in. I don't know if I said that right.
Oh, that's big money.
Yeah, I got it. I got an Adidas key roll-in, but it doesn't say ATP. But I searched online and I posted pictures, and there's an ad in the New Yorker in 1980 that said key roll-in was antrel polyester and something. So it's a fabric, not ATP. That's just tennis people.
The ATP is not important and will not be conducive in that item selling. Just the key roll-in part is good enough.
Okay.
Yeah. Good item though. That thing will sell immediately if you didn't know what it was and you mislisted it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, man, I was looking at, because it's funny because it seems like I found only one. I mean, I'm sure I could spend more hours searching and I will
No,
find one, but
no,
I found only one that said key roll-in without ATP.
It's okay. It's fine.
Okay.
Do you have the whole suit or just the jacket?
I got
or
the
just
whole
pants?
thing, man.
Woo, what color?
Navy blue. I got it around here someplace.
Oh, those things, that's gonna sell for huge money. That's a great find. Good job.
Like I saw somebody sold one 155. Does that seem like in the ballpark?
Maybe more. Is it made in like West Germany or made
Made in the United States of America.
Cool, yeah. Those are great money. Even the jacket or the pants by itself are great money. That's a really good one.
I was on the way out of the door in the same Goodwill, man, where I found my hats and I saw it and it was $15. And I said, oh, hell yeah, $15. I'm out of here.
Yeah, great find. Good one.
Okay, thank you. I guess my research was correct that the key roll-in is the fabric and that's the important thing. So,
Yes. And you want to use that keyword in the title. A lot of people have saved searches for that.
okay. And I did, in case anybody wants it, I took pictures of this article that I found from the New Yorker that was from 1980. And so I saved, I did my research, man.
Cool,
So
great
thanks
job.
for confirming
Excellent.
it. Thank you.
Thank you. Cindy, please.
Hi, thank you so much for forming this group. I have a question about, I have like 30 like 1980s women's blouses, and I was going to do a deep dive on it because see if I should even spend my time on it or lot them up and get rid of it. Are you going to have a deep dive page like the one that you were starting over in the other group?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think it's worth me spending time on that, or go through and list stuff that I know is going to sell?
It is probably worth it to assess the items for strength of brand and strength of keyword or strength of keyword, because that older vintage stuff can sell just fine on keywords alone. However, if it is a bad brand with not strong enough keywords, it is probably not going to be a strong enough item to list. And, you know, we always have Michelle as a great wealth of knowledge, especially in this kind of stuff. So if I would assess it for strength of brand, I would assess it for strength of keyword. And after that, if you are unsure, you are more than welcome to post it into the group or talk about it on the appropriate call that would match the question.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Joseph, back to you. What's going on?
Yo, Dick. All right, I got a question for you. I'm at the point where I'm going to the post office 3 times a week to maintain Top Rated Seller Plus. I'm able to, I do some shipping every day, but I only actually have to do a drop off 3 times a week. But that's still an hour to 2 hours of my time a week. And I'm wondering, would you recommend trying to establish a relationship of somebody to come pick it up? Is that worth the risk for the time savings? I'm like hand delivering to the counter, and I've never had an issue with scans. So I don't want to really mess with a good thing because I've got a really good acceptance rate, tracking rate, all my metrics are good, but I could optimize, maybe save a couple hours. Do you think that's worth it to try?
I do think it is worth it to try to establish the relationship. However, there could be some pushback against scanning them at your location, but you have to establish that relationship and kind of meet them out there toss them a Gatorade, have a little bit of good conversation, get them into scanning, because you have to think about it. Is your business going to get any smaller than this?
Yeah, no way. No, I'm only growing from here. Yeah.
Right. So this, if it is an issue now, it will only be a bigger issue later with as you start to ship more items. So now is probably a good opportunity and a good time to establish that relationship, get to know your mail carrier. And I've never had any issue with pickups from 100 a day all the way up to 300 or 400 a day, just because of the relationship. They don't want to scan, but the relationship, they have no problem scanning.
Cool. Thanks. Awesome.
Yep. Thank you.
So can I add to that, Tech? So I used to get grief periodically when we would have replacement carriers or substitutes when I was doing them at my house, even though I had scheduled pickups.
Yeah.
Since moving to a commercial location, like in the second week or so, I got a little bit of grief from the carrier, but once I talked to the supervisor, talked to the branch and all that, like that's all gone. They know that it's a commercial, they know that it's a business, they know that every single day they're coming in here and scanning it. So I think that has been one of the benefits of actually having a commercial address is they know it's a business versus like someone in their house saying their business. It's just it's very different. So
absolutely. Thank you. In addition to that, great piece of information. In addition to that, it is about the relationship. So even when I was getting pickups at my house, my driver would inform the person who was on the day off that we need to hit this pickup and we need to scan these items. So the whole post office knew that my location had a daily pickup with a daily scan, just due to the relationship, being a good person. I would also recommend to have it set up where it's not a complete pain in the butt for them to do it. Help them carry the stuff to the truck, be their friend. When they're out scanning, they scan, they don't touch the packages. I drop them in the bag. So I'm out there like a race car driver, a pit stop person, and I'm in there doing it, helping them. I carry it out there. I hand them the drink. I hope they have a great day. And I do that every single day. And by then, like, you have to try to eliminate like all the reasons or all the excuses on like why they wouldn't or couldn't or shouldn't. And when you meet them out there with a smile, you help them scan, you bring it to the truck, you give them a cold drink. You have to be a real certain kind of person to not scan items.
we still do that too. We've got a table set up for them. We carry them to the truck. I mean, even with like the branch manager coming in our side, we still kind of do it just to make sure that they don't have a bad day and skip it. So
100%. Thank you. Thank you, Joseph.
They also really like Gatorade, not water, because they have water in their own truck. So any flavored, not overly sweet juice or something, they're super excited about. 100%.
Yeah. In the very beginning, I always offer them water, Gatorade, or Coke. A lot of them pick the Coke, and I'm cool with that. Maybe, you need a little bit of Coca-Cola or Pepsi to get you throughout the day. Whatever is their beverage of choice, I am happy to provide to them. James said, what is going to happen to the Vero list? So I actually have the Vero list on my computer. I've added those brands to my computer every time they've come up. So we could just redo the Vero list, no problem. Okay, catching up in the chat. Alex. Alex, can you hear us? All right, we'll come back to Alex.
Wait, Tech, you called on me. You broke off just a little bit.
Yeah, you're on. What do you got?
Can you hear me or no?
Yes.
Okay. How consistent are they on picking up the USPS? How consistent are they on picking up at the exact same time, or does that vary?
So there's two ways you can do it. One of them is you pick the time. It's $25 per pickup. One of them is all of your stuff is ready at the time that they come. Usually the drivers, in my experience, they got the route down to a science, and they're always there around the same time. So for instance, at my house, they
Okay.
usually come about 4 o'clock. They will be here between 3:30 and 4:30. At the warehouse, they usually come around 2. Everything is done at the warehouse by 1:30 at the absolute latest. And here's another thing, once you establish the relationship, grab their number. If they're running late, they can send you a text message. If it's 2:30 and you haven't heard from them, send them a text message and say, hey, how we looking? Hey, I'm running a little bit late. I had a flat tire. I'll be there at 4. No problem. You can also grab their phone number as well for communication.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that.
Thank you. JMA say you still plan to retire? That ain't changed. Michelle.
Hiya. So obviously with eBay, we don't need to do marketing, but obviously you are now coming into other venue, like other things, and obviously you've also got your brick and mortar. So I'm wondering, like, how much thought, or what is your thought process like when it comes to marketing?
In what business?
So both. So for example, you've marketed your brick and mortar in a very certain way. Like, what was that you, or did you have help? Like, let's make this a really hip, cool, like market it in a certain way, or was it just you?
That was me, and I think that the best marketing is word of mouth from happy customers. And a lot of you people are here from word of mouth that you are happy customers and you told a friend. So for the brick and mortar store, the first day, I had only done a couple posts on my, actually, no, I didn't. I didn't even make a post on my personal Instagram because I didn't want anyone to know that it was my store, because I never want any of my businesses to work because it's mine. I want it to work because it works. So I have Whatnot Stream. No one knows it's mine. It needs to work because it works. It doesn't need to work because it's mine. So for the brick and mortar store, I made a page for it. And what I did do is the people that I know around here locally, when you are a good person and you do a lot of solids for a lot of people, and then when you ask for a favor, they are more than happy to help you. And I asked them and I said, hey, I'm opening up this store. Can you please share it on your account? Can you please share it to the people that you know? And that's how I kind of got the word out at first, was asking favors from my friends who owed me a favor. They got it out. We did tremendous on the first day. We did tremendous for the first couple of weeks. And then it kind of started to decrease and go to a lull. And I learned very quickly, if nobody walks in the door, I do not make any money. If a lot of people walk in the door, I make a lot of money. So I needed to get people in the door. So for the brick and mortar store, I did do Instagram advertising, targeted Instagram advertising in like a 5-mile radius, 10-mile radius, 15-mile radius, whatever I did. And on there, you can select keywords, you can select hashtags, you can select and market to different age ranges and things like that. So for me, my store is 15 to 35. I don't need to market my vintage store, hip, cool vintage streetwear store, to grandmas. Those are not my customers. Have they come in and bought stuff? Sure, but that's not my customer. So I marketed it to 15 to 35 within 10 miles, these certain keywords, these certain things that these customers are looking at every single day on Instagram. And because Instagram is a data company, they know what people are looking at. They will show it in their feed. And I did, I think it was $35. I think that's the minimum. And I think I ran that for, I don't know, a couple of months, but I haven't done that in probably 5 years, 5.5 years. And once I did kind of create the customer base, it has just grown organically on what's the most important thing is the word of mouth of a happy customer.
And how about you, YouTube? I don't, maybe save this for a different call. Obviously you are, like, there is no getting around it. You are your YouTube as a business. Or has that just happened organically? You're just like, hey, this is me, and have you like thought about how you are presenting yourself to the world, or have you just gone with you?
I have thought about the presentation. Presentation is very important. I did not do a lot of marketing. I made one post on my own Instagram, and that was it. And I think my philosophy with YouTube is that if you make good videos that people want to watch, people will watch them. And that's all I'm going to try to do.
Cool.
If you make
Thank you.
videos nobody wants to watch, then nobody will watch them. And the rest will work out. And if you make good videos that people want to watch, your channel should grow organically. And I don't want to get to the point where I have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers and no views. I would rather have more views than subscribers. So that's where I'm at. If you make good videos, people will watch them and they will want to watch another one. And that's it. And that's the same thing for eBay. If you sell good products, they will come back and buy another one for you. That's just same thing for tree service. If you do a good job, they'll tell their neighbor, they'll tell their uncle, they'll tell their boss, they'll tell their sibling, and they also will call you and have you do work for them as well. It's just do good work, do the right thing, have a good reputation, and people will love to do business with you. That's for every single business in the world. Thank you. Sarah said, thoughts on the other types of promotions on eBay? I see 2 newer options under the advertising section, but it seems like pay-per-click. Yeah, so it's more skewed towards the pay-per-click, and it is more skewed towards paying for external advertising. And if you wish to try it, you may give it an experiment, give it a shot. In my personal opinion, and this is an important clarification for people that are new. If I'm going to speculate, I'm going to tell you it's speculation. If I'm going to speak my opinion, I am going to clarify and say it is my personal opinion. In my opinion, I believe that the pay-per-click and the external advertising is probably most helpful for people that sell new items or replenishable items that they have a lot of quantity in. So multi-quantity items. I don't know if it is best utilized for people that sell one-off items to do the pay-per-click and bid on certain keywords, or advertise these things externally. But I think people should try it and see if it is a good fit for them, and just explore it, because it is a tool that they do have available for us. Alex, back to you. Alex.
Check, can you hear me well?
I got you. What do you got?
Does this change anything for you? I know you just answered the question a little bit, but does this change anything for you in eBay in regards to maybe extending your time a little bit longer?
No.
Mm.
Adios,
sounds good.
amigos. Karen said, how do they find their niche? They have 20 brands, 3 weeks sold, all makeup, 5 high-end brands. I need to make sure. All right. So how do you find a niche? So everybody starts out as everything sellers, and there's nothing wrong with everything sellers. The advice that we give here is more towards streamlining processes, building redundancy, having repeatable things, measurable things, so that way you can improve, and get better and run a more streamlined operation. If you wish to be an everything seller, no problem. Normally people find their niche by finding out what they don't want to sell. So I've sold just about everything in my eBay career. And I've eliminated things that I just don't want to sell. I used to sell a lot of electronics. However, electronics on eBay comes with a customer understanding of unlimited tech support for the lifetime of the item. They arrive broken. Sometimes people swap out the parts. Sometimes people don't know how to use them. There's a whole bunch of different kind of things that happen when you sell electronics that don't happen with clothing. Clothing does not require unlimited for life of the product customer service. Clothing does not require instructions. You don't need instructions for a t-shirt. Clothing does not get broken in the mail and then it's returned and it's no longer the same value. Clothing, for the most part, is returned for wrong size or doesn't fit, and you can just go ahead and resell it again with a minimal amount of loss. Electronics require parts and pieces. Electronics require testing. A lot of things require boxes. A lot of things require different kinds of storage systems and setups, different kind of photography setups. So you can sell whatever you want, any and everything. But for me, how I found my niche was eliminating items that I didn't want to sell in combination with what is easily accessible in my area. If I had my choice, sorry, Jack, I would sell just video games, but I can't find enough video games in order to run the business that I want to run. So I had to settle for clothing. I don't like clothing. I don't have an affinity towards clothing. I chose clothing because it is in abundance. I have an advantage, a competitive advantage, because I took the time to acquire the knowledge, do the research, figure out what clothing is valuable that people don't know is valuable. There's a bunch of clothing on the floor in a 5-foot pile. I'm able to find and identify the Indian head Ralph Lauren sweater that they're going to sell for $1 because they think is just like every other piece of clothing in there, but I know is worth several hundreds of dollars. That is a competitive advantage. I built a photo setup around it. I built a storage setup around it. I've built all kinds of processes around one single item in an attempt to streamline and be able to list the amount of items that I wanted to list, store the amount of items I wanted to store, ship the amount of items that I wanted to ship, and do everything that needs to be done with those items. But once upon a time, I've sold just about everything. But finding your niche, sometimes the niche finds you. Kevin, can you speak of your thought process on stepping out of the other group and starting this separate group? It's just a fluid situation, so I can't get into specifics. Michaela says, if you do the 99 level, what would the format be? I love the 100K call, but it was at 2 a.m. in Australia. It would be more towards that. Mandy said, are you still doing the hat store? Yeah, I will still list hats. I love eBay. I love listing hats. I love selling hats. And I will still do eBay for fun. I think that after doing it every single day of my life and letting it consume my life for 15 years, I just can't go like 100% cold turkey. So I'll still knock out 20 hats in 20 minutes every single day, just for the fun of it. Athena says, will the zip code call be uploaded over here or a new version of it? Yes. And Kevin would love to sell Pokemon cards, but he's got to sell clothing. Amen, Kevin. Peter says, for eBay, when do you stop marking down common clothing and just let them sit and wait for the right buyer? So ultimately, those items should not be purchased in the first place. If you have already purchased them already have your money invested, already took the time to list those items, and they are currently for sale, I wouldn't just remove them. I would form some sort of policy or rule within my business for a some sort of markdown policy for older items. So if you have an item for X amount of time, it gets marked down to X amount of price. If you have it a little longer, you mark it down to a little bit longer. You may also look into, in addition or for substitution of the markdown, you may also consider increasing your promoted listings on those items. Promoted listings guarantees visibility. Markdown sale guarantees a cheaper price. You can run an auction. You can set it as a price at what you would be happy with, even if it only received one bid. If it received no bid, you may try it again. If it still receives no bids, you can try it again and again and again, or you can consider revising the price and making it cheaper, and hopefully somebody will buy it. If nobody buys it on bid, if you have marked it down tremendously and it is not an item that anybody on eBay wants, you may remove it. You can have a garage sale. You can go to a flea market. You can sell it to some other bozo reseller to make the same mistake that you made. Whatever you have to do to, at worst, recoup your money and break even, so that way you can purchase new inventory and have another opportunity, or at best turn a small profit and again purchase another item and have a better opportunity. So we should not be buying these items in the first place. Why? Number one, we should have rules for our businesses and what we purchase. For example, my rule is I want to make $20 profit, and I only pick up items that give me a $20 profit and sell within 90 days. I've judged the sell-through and I see this item has a 100% sell-through. I will make $20 profit. This item met my metrics. This item is an item I will purchase, and everything outside of that, you pass. Because that is not your business. Those are not your rules. If you choose to purchase other items, that is your responsibility because you lack discipline and you did not follow your rules, and now you must pay the consequences. Can you make, caveats to your rules? Absolutely, it's your business. You could do whatever you want to do. Can you say, well, this item is going to sell in 1 month, so I'm okay with taking a smaller profit? Absolutely. Can you say this item is going to net me more than $20 profit and I have no problem holding on to it for more than 90 days? Absolutely. Just understand that the more you do that in either direction, the further away you get from your core principles, your core business of $20 profit, 90-day sell-through. So everybody should write the rules for their business. And if you would like to write rules for this business, I will give you about 4 seconds to grab a pencil and a paper, and I will go through the list. You need to write rules for buying. You need to write rules for listing. You need to write rules for your put away. You need to write rules for photography. You need to write rules for customer service. You need to write rules for shipping. You need to write rules on how you handle returns, cancellations in the resolution center. You need to have rules for when you send invoices. You need to have rules for every single piece and part of your business, and you need to not deviate from those rules. If you deviate once and compromise once, you will deviate and compromise again. And this is a tip for everybody. This call today, you can listen to this call in 4 months, in 4 years. The answer will remain exactly the same to each and every one of these questions. Why? Because I answer these questions in accordance to the rules that are set within my business. I answer your questions based on my rules for my business. My rules have not changed in 15 years. The very, very first call that I ever did is the same answers, the same philosophies as this call and every call going forward, because they are answered in accordance to what my business policies are, what my business rules are. And I believe that that is the safest and the best way to operate an eBay business. So everybody needs to sit down. eBay is an offensive sport. You need to take initiative and you need to write down the rules to your business and you need to plaster them on every single wall of your house if you need so, to have a constant reminder that this is what you said you are going to do. So this is what you must do. If you compromise once, you will compromise again. Jason.
Yes, just had two questions. I guess for your podcast, who will you be interviewing?
Maybe myself.
Okay,
Maybe
that'd be
some of
good.
you fine folks. We'll get all that figured out. We'll figure all that out. Don't worry.
Okay, just curious. And then I guess I've been thinking about this a while, but I'm the one that has to answer the question. You were talking about niches, and one thing you also have to watch out for is probably not to pick a seasonal niche like I have with the golf clubs, because right now it's easier for me to buy, but much harder for me to sell, and
Absolutely.
it's been that same way. This is my third year doing it, so it always makes me kind of nervous because I could easily overbuy right now, but I'm always thinking, I can get kicked off eBay, or we can go into a recession and people won't want golf clubs and they won't really sell in the summer. So it's always a problem.
You're right, but Jason, what if you don't get kicked off eBay, and what if we don't go into a recession?
Yeah, then I'll do very well.
Okay, so let's do that. We can't run our businesses with a scared mentality. I've been on eBay for 15 years. Michelle has been on for 20 years. Knock on wood, Michelle, you knock on wood too. If you do the right thing, eBay will continue to be happy to have your business.
Yeah, that's probably right, but it's still, this is,
we
go
can't
ahead.
speculate and run our businesses on what ifs, Jason. You need to focus on what is inside of your control, and you need to work towards that, doing the best that you could do with what is inside of your control. Otherwise, we can sit here all day and speculate and talk about every single what if, but until it happens, it doesn't matter. Will there be a recession? Yes, there will. When will it be? I don't know. Could be in 10 years. Jason, if you are timing the real estate market, you're still timing it, right?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the crash.
Waiting. Meanwhile, everything has gone up, right?
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
It's gone up since the last time you were waiting. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. It hasn't gone down.
No, not yet.
No. Okay, so let's get our stuff. And when it does come, again, we can go on the offensive. We can do things. We have options and opportunities if we need to have them or take them, but we do not need to run our business in that manner of what if something happens. If something happens, you can sell that stuff to somebody else, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's true. It's just saying the same thing over again, but it's just like right now, sales are not coming in. And so I project that in the future, but having done this a while, I know it's just seasonal. The sales will come in the summer, pending something strange happening.
Right, but we're a long way from the summer, and since you've been at this for multiple years and you knew seasonality would have an effect, you need to start figuring out some sort of counterbalance to the seasonality of your business.
Yeah, well, actually, things pick up in February, so it's not that far away. Yeah.
Okay, you still have the option to figure out something that will counter the off season for your business.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, before we get to Joseph, if you've heard these calls before, you know around this time usually my wife brings me grapes. However, we're out of grapes, and just due to everything that's going on, I have not even eaten today, and it's 8 o'clock. I might phone in some pizza rolls. Do not take it as any sort of form of disrespect, but I have not eaten for the entire day, not even one thing, just due to everything that is going on. And we are totally out of grapes, and I'm crushed that we're out of grapes. So I will have pizza rolls coming in, but I will be respectful. I will mute while I'm chewing, but you have my attention. I just have to eat something today. Joseph?
All right, Tech. Yeah, you got me thinking kind of philosophical when you're thinking long term, and maybe you're at the tail end of your eBay business. And I'm wondering, I'm at the point where it's just me running the business. We're full time. We're saving money. I think my wife and I can maybe retire in about 10 years. I'm 37, so I think we're on track. But I know that I'm always looking to grow and always looking to get more efficient. But at a certain point, obviously there is a point where maybe there is a time to hire employees. And my last business was a restaurant, and I did hire employees before I got profitable, and I made a huge mistake. And I had tons of employees, and they were getting paid well, and I wasn't. And me and my wife were handling all the stress, and we just kind of did business the wrong way. And now I know how efficient I am, and even a great employee is only going to care maybe 80% as much as you, and maybe be 80% as good. And obviously you can multiply yourself, but is there a point where you knew it was the right time in your eBay business to start hiring? Or looking back, would you have changed the timing of that?
So my situation is a little bit unique because I was always doing everything else and always was doing eBay as a hobby at the end of the day. So I would go out and work cutting down trees all day and then come home and do my listings and my photos and list 120. I would not change personally, but when did I know it was the time? I knew it was the time when I was really doing very well, listing 120 a day. My wife's sister was helping me pack. She wanted a couple more hours before she picked up her kids at school. And, she would list 20 or 30 a day. That went well, kind of like my first kind of dipping my toe into the pool of hiring for eBay. That went well, no complaints, no issues. And then the warehouse directly next door from mine became available, and my storage space essentially doubled overnight. And I knew at that time it was the time to go really hard and blow this thing up. So that's when I decided to. So I guess it is a combination for me personally. It was a combination of processes, knowledge, ability, and then opportunity.
Is there a point? I mean, okay, do you think that your energy per dollar, your stress per dollar went up doing it right? Or do you think that if you had just instead focused your energy on getting as efficient as you could yourself? I mean, because obviously, expenses go up, rent goes up, triple nets or so much money. I mean, obviously, and that's where I'm so avoidant of that this time around with my second business. My first business, we had a $4,000 a month lease and all these employees. And I recognize that I heard once, revenue is vanity and profit is sanity. And that has
Absolutely.
stuck with me. I love that. And so I'm very hesitant this time around. So yeah, I'm kind of curious. I'm curious. I appreciate you sharing your knowledge here. I really do.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I emotionally am very flat. I do not get stressed out one way or the other. I have the confidence that no matter what, I have the ability to make whatever I'm doing work. I also know that if the expenses go up, you can just make more money. The money has already been printed. We don't have to make it. We just have to get it. And I know I can just pull money out of the sky. And I do that on a daily basis. I am confident in my ability to do that. With that said, taking on employees is a tremendous responsibility. You work for them, they come first. They get paid before you get paid. Taking on warehouse space, whether you rent or you own, is a tremendous opportunity and a tremendous liability and a tremendous responsibility. So all of that stuff should be heavily, heavily considered. And I think that if you are going to scale eBay or any business, that you should have a substantial amount of savings. And in my opinion, how I run my business, I like to have 1 year of savings where if I never sold an item or never produced another dollar of revenue or income, that my business can continue to move forward. That is very aggressive, but I am very risk averse, but that is very aggressive. I think that you should have some level of savings that you are comfortable with, that if things don't go correctly, or if you need a helping hand, that you do have the opportunity to dip into that thing for the safety and well-being of your business, because you're right, it is a tremendous responsibility.
Cool. Thanks, Tech.
Thank you. Catching up in the chat, Peter says, speaking of hats, is 47 brand in new condition a Vero issue? 47 brand, to my knowledge at this point in time, I have not seen anybody receive a Vero for this brand in pre-owned or used. However, brands tend to be more aggressive against items listed as brand new versus items listed as pre-owned. If you ever have a question about an item and the potential liability of being on the Vero brand or being a safe item to list or not a safe item to list, you could go to the Google machine and type in eBay 47 brand Vero and see if anybody across the internet is complaining that they got a Vero, because when people get a Vero, the first thing they do is post about it, and they love to post about that stuff on the eBay forums. So that's a good tool to use, a good tactic to use. It's always best to kind of keep your ear to the streets, pay attention on Instagram, pay attention on YouTube, pay attention to any sort of groups that you belong to, pay attention to your friends who may resell. And if you hear any sort of rumbles or have any sort of inkling that this brand could potentially be dangerous to list, for me personally, I steer clear of listing those items. So I think that listing as new is more risky than listing as pre-owned, and that is blanket across all categories and all brands. Max said, is the deep dive document still on? It is. Jay said, will this be a subscription-based group? It will be. Are you taking the old content from the old group? I am not. Catching up in the chat. Megan said, will you still do a call for the Australians? We will still have a call for the Australians as long as there are Australians here to accept the call. If there are no Australians here, then there will not be an Australian call. If they are here, then we will be happy to do it.
Hey, Tech, can I ask just a really quick point on that, what you just stated, about the content? It was stated in the other group prior that Chris has temporarily, at a minimum, suspended the content, and may choose to leave it as inaccessible, as he, I guess we'll just say, ultimately wasn't certain if it was his to, not that if it was his, but if it was I don't know, we'll say appropriate to leave it available. So if that is the case, will that would you reconsider or give some ability to look at it to make it available in the group here?
No, that is not mine. I was a contractor for that group. I don't feel as if that content is mine. So whatever Chris may have said or may not have said, I don't know what he said or what his decision is. That is that content does not belong to me.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashley, for writing down the list. I appreciate it. Oh, Johnny, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Tech? I just wanted to question, are you gonna be doing like private coaching or like one-on-one, or I guess something to what the $99 tier call was?
The $99 tier, like I said earlier, I am open
Yeah,
to
I just
doing
got
it
on.
if people want to have it. But like I said earlier, that was my least favorite one to do just because it was too slow for me. But I understand that it did help a lot of people, and I am open to doing it if people wish to do it. I understand that it is highly valuable. But maybe the format that it was done was probably too slow for me, because the $100,000 call is not slow for me. We're rocking and rolling, we're moving and shaking, and I enjoy that one. So if we can move and shake in the $99 tier, and if people do want that and will find it helpful, I have no objections to do it. But like one-on-one, that ain't happening. Like with anybody, anywhere, that ain't happening.
Okay. Are you gonna do like your own, I guess, white papers or anything like that?
I'm not sure at this time. I haven't thought about that one way or the other.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Mm.
Pixie?
Yeah. So in one of your previous videos, you were talking about a camera and you said like 1.1. And I'm not real familiar with cameras at all. And I've been fighting this whole camera phone thing for a long time. So what exactly does this 1.1 mean? And how do you choose? And I know you don't like say this is what I use or this is what I recommend. I know you don't do that. But how do we like ask ourselves the question and what we need to choose the right camera? And besides this 1.1 thing, are there other important features that we need to look at as far as the camera?
All right, so I believe that the ratio on eBay, and I could be wrong about this, so if somebody knows, please type it in the chat or raise your hand. I believe the ratio on eBay is 2:1 for the default photo. And that is, there's two different modes. One is portrait mode, one is kind of more landscape mode. I technically don't put the 2:1 ratio photo on my listing. I believe my photos are 1:1. Having said that, I have sold hundreds of thousands of items without issue. I have never received a message of someone going, yo, I was just about to purchase this item, but it's 1:1 ratio, so I'm gonna pass. I've never received that message before. So I believe that if the picture is clear, concise, your title is correct, your item specifics are correct, you are priced correctly, your description is good, your return policy is good, your feedback is good, that a customer will purchase your item no matter what the ratio, whether it's 1:1 or 2:1, whether it's more landscape or more portrait. You just need to have a picture that correctly and accurately displays the item and the corresponding ingredients in the listing with the photo, and buyers will buy it.
Tech, now that you were talking about the aspect ratio, do you think I've seen that like all my pictures are perfectly squared and I do it and they're perfectly to the size of the item so that when people see it outside, it looks big enough so they can see the item and it's not too far away. But I've noticed that eBay kind of like, even though I'm doing the size of the picture exactly to the size of the item, eBay actually adds like another layer around it and it still it shrinks it. I don't know why that's And I guess it's to add like the little icons to click the heart and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I noticed that and I was like, what's this going? It just called my attention.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, let me catch up in the chat and then see if anyone else has any questions on this side. JMA says, what is your advice on paying yourself? Do you think paying himself 25% profits is okay? I think that you should speak with a professional in that arena. I cannot recommend how much somebody should pay themselves. Each individual business and circumstances are different. And I know a lot of people are asking about, like, is a lot of that information from the other group going to be brought over here? And we'll just make it again. It's not a big deal. Like, I'll just make it again. I have the capacity to do so. It's not the end of the world. And like I said, I had one call over there. You guys just listened to it 159 times. This call is the same as those. You ain't missing nothing. Thank you. Jen said, are you still going to have the 100,000 call? I will. And Johnny B, aspect ratio is proportional relationship between an image width and height, essentially describes an image shape. Aspect ratios are written as a formula, 3:2, 1:1. Thank you. eBay is 1:1. Guarantees you'll use all the space. Thank you, sir. Jenna says, can you give insight on what the group will look like when you retire? I don't know. Maybe I leave you heathens amongst each other and you guys fight it out. I'll make sure everything is taken care of and everybody is taken care of. Don't worry. And if I still have value to add, I will still add value. If I no longer have value to add, then I no longer have value to add. Freddie said, are the $100,000 call applicants able to apply by January 1st? And could you elaborate on the requirements? Okay. So for right now, no new people for the $100,000 call. Whoever was in it and would like to continue in it, we will work with those people. And then I will make an announcement before January 1st and kind of, keep those people if they wish to stay, and then add new people in it. The requirements will be, you would have to have sold $100,000 worth of stuff in the year 2023. Someone just had their hand up, but I lost them. So if you have your hand up again, please have your hand up, please. Oh, there you go. Charlotta. Sorry about that.
Hi, it's okay, Charlita.
Sorry, thank you.
That's okay. No worries. So I'm a little under 90 days into my reseller journey, and I, at the moment, exclusively sell on Poshmark, and I'm already considering transitioning to eBay because, a lot of the things you all are talking about outside of like operations and fundamentals, I kind of feel like the redheaded stepchild. So what are your thoughts in regards to maybe cross-listing, or since I'm still relatively new, should I just be still for the time being?
All right, great question. For me personally, I have never cross-listed an item, so I don't have any experience in that. I think personally, if you are going to list on multiple platforms, it's probably best to have separate inventory on multiple platforms, like one item on eBay, one item on Poshmark, one item on another one. But I do understand that kind of defeats the purpose of cross-posting. So I don't have an opinion one way or the other for cross-posting. If people wish to do it and it helps their business, I'm for anything that you wish to do that you're happy with that helps your business. The only downside that I've always seen with people that do cross-post are when they double sell items on multiple platforms and then they have to cancel and take a defect somewhere. And for eBay, canceling items is the harshest defect currently. So I would hope that we would have some sort of system that we utilize inside of our business with our rules. So that way that we can keep the double sales or the cancellations to as close to zero as possible. So like I said, I've never cross-listed before. I have no experience in doing it. However, a lot of people do like it. They do it. They swear by it. They feel that they get more sales due to it. And if you are happy doing it and it works for your business and you are finding success, I have no problem with anything, including cross-posting, including if you want to list your items while you drive in the car. If you find success doing that, you're happy doing it, and you feel it leads to more sales, you are more than happy to run your business how you see fit. But I personally don't have any experience in that arena. I would just caution to have some sort of system as a safety mechanism, so that way you can not double sell items. That would just be the word of caution. And that goes for everything. We just have to be cautious with everything. But I personally don't have any experience with cross-posting or any of the softwares. I've just never done it. I've only listed on eBay and that's it.
That's a good idea. Thank you for that information, because sometimes when I'm doing my comps, because even though I'm on another platform, I get a lot of my comps in regards to establishing my selling price on eBay. And on the other platform, sometimes that item, has very few listings. And I'm like, oh, well, this particular item might actually do better if I listed it on eBay. So in regards to your statement about, maybe put some items over here and park some items over there so you don't run the risk of double selling. I think that's a good idea. And thank you for that.
Yeah, and again, you have to make the decision. Kind of splitting up your inventory kind of defeats the purpose of cross-posting. So if you want to cross-post and you feel that it is helpful for your business, I have no objection as long as you are happy, you are making more sales, and you are running your business how you want. Just with everything, just listing on one platform is risky. So, the counter argument to not cross-posting is you have all your eggs in one basket, and that is a risk. So there are risks and rewards with everything. And ultimately, at the end of the day, everybody has to run their business how they see fit and what's best for them. Thank you for the question, though. Good question. Tom, what's up?
Hey, Tech. I got 3 questions. The first one is, I had a sale today. No, excuse me, I had a sale yesterday, and I've already switched over to 1-day shipping. So I've already shipped the item out. And then today I received an email from eBay saying, don't ship this item. Suspicious. It was a drop shipper. Of course, I called eBay and told them I've already shipped it. They said, no problem. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I had a situation last week where I did a combined shipping order, 7 items. Usually I take the 7 items and I'll set them aside, but one slipped through. And I printed the label for this one item and I realized, oh no, this goes with the combined shipping order. And I didn't know how to make the label correct, so I just voided the label. And then I combined everything and shipped it. Well, for whatever reason, I decided to check my seller level and it showed a late scan or a no scan. And I researched it and they were basing it on that voided label.
Okay.
And so they sent a letter saying that they couldn't remove that late shipment. And the letter said, we see that you have 3 transactions that were no carrier scan. And I've never had that happen. So I researched that and it showed that 4 months ago, I had an item that someone paid for. And I got an immediate email from eBay saying, don't ship this order. suspicious activity. So I didn't ship it. And then that showed up as a no scan. So in that situation, what would I have done? Cancel the order on my end and say,
No, have you called and talked to a human or just dealing with robots?
well, yeah, I talked to a living, breathing human being about.
Well, we don't know if they're breathing, but all right, they're.
Yeah,
We talked
well,
to a
now,
human.
yeah, now the one that, I spoke to the gentleman a couple of days ago, and he said, "Oh yeah, we can take care of that." But then they sent an email saying they couldn't, and I don't know if they were basing that on saying, "Hey, you had two other ones that no scan." But when I looked
Okay.
at them, it's the ones that they told me not to ship.
Yeah, so that 100%, if it was due to a suspicious buyer, you should not be held accountable for that. And I think that you should call and try to get a different rep. I do know that those types of defects update every Thursday. So if they are removed today, you will not see that reflect on your account until Thursday. I usually check Friday because you don't know what time they updated on Thursday. But those should not be counted towards your account, and you should just try to give them a call back and just explain the situation. But if they told you not to ship due to a suspicious buyer, those should not count against your record.
Okay. No, now it'll fall off anyway after 30 days, correct?
It depends on your velocity. So you're assessed as a top rated seller one or two ways. If you sell over 400 items within a 3-month period, you are assessed on a 90-day window. If you sell less than 400 items, then you are assessed on a 1-year window. So it's 3 months, not 1 month.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it now, 3 months. Okay. All right, well, I'll try to follow through with it again. But the funny thing is that in the email that they send, it tells you what you should and should not do, but it certainly doesn't say anything about canceling the order. I mean, I know now. Hopefully, this will help somebody else out to keep their eye on this, because I never would have came across it unless I had kind of did a little research into it. But
Yeah.
it's already fallen off now. It was 3 months ago. It's just that it was unbeknownst to me, and I guess I know now, as I was discussing with somebody else in the group, that it's a good thing to check, if not every day, at least once a week. Just check your solar level, check your metrics, check everything.
1,000%. And I'm going to link that in the chat for everybody so that they can go in there and they can check their seller level, check if they have any defects, check if they have any late shipments, everything else. Very, very, very important. And thanks, Tom.
Okay, and one last question. Are you planning on having any sort of cap on this group as for it not to get too big, or do you want it to get as big as you want?
I'm not sure. We still got to get one person first. Right now, we have no people officially.
Okay, good point.
Right now, we have nobody. Neil.
Hi, Tech. I was just wondering if there's any chance of you organising a call that would be a much better time for UK people, as it's like it's 1:30 in the morning. I just wonder, like when Chris was doing calls, which was a morning call for us, it was like 2:00 in the afternoon. So I wondered whether there would be a call that you could do, that you'd be prepared to do, that would be at a time when UK people aren't supposed to be asleep, kind of thing.
All right. So you say 2 p.m. your time is a good time?
Yeah, the time that Chris was doing,
regardless of that, 2 p.m. is a good time?
Yeah, that's a good time. Yeah.
All right. You got it. Be ready tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Great.
I'll be there. Which is 9 a.m. our time in Eastern Standard Time. Freddie, do buyer's remorse like returns do not fit affect the metric? The past few weeks, I've had an increase of do not fit returns. I guess if my volume goes up. So that is what is considered a buyer's remorse return, such as found a better price, doesn't fit, wrong size, no longer need, ordered by mistake. changed mine. Those do not have an impact on your account, your velocity in search or sales. Your item not as described reasons, arrived damage, arrived broken, missing parts and pieces, not as picture, not as described. Those do affect your account negatively. Kayla?
Hey Tech, I'm sorry if this has been answered already. I came in late. Is this going to be your new Zoom room, this one that we're in right now? Or is it going to be the original one that you listed?
So I'm a Zoom noob. I believe this is going to be the room, but I will update accordingly if there's a change, but I believe this is the room.
Okay, and are you planning on having a 24-hour room?
I plan on having a co-worker space that is open and available to anybody who wants to use it at any time.
Okay, thank you. And your calls moving forward in your group are going to start November 1st, or are they starting before then?
I want to try to get rock and rolling on Monday, this coming Monday, but I'm going to try my best to do that. But I'm going to do a call tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. And like I said earlier, I know that's the same time Chris does his, and it's not to compete with Chris at all. It's just 8 a.m. is too early for me, and it's too early for people in California. That's 5 a.m. And 10 a.m. is too late, and too late for everybody to be starting on the East Coast. So my official recommendation is, if you are in both groups, Chris runs a fantastic morning call. Attend Chris's morning call live. Ask him all the questions you wish to ask. Watch my morning call on the replay until I find somebody to run the call or figure out the next move. But I would recommend listen to his call, listen to mine later at your convenience.
Okay, and it's going to be in this room at 9 a.m. Eastern?
If everything works correctly, yes. I'm not a Zoom professional, but if everything works correctly, then yes. And you can always catch the recording, and I will have the document updated with all the calls as quickly as possible. Thank you. Kimberly says their hard stop at 10 a.m. That's a good idea. There's a hard stop at 10 a.m. because you guys got to get to work, and I got to get to work. So 10 a.m., we're out the door. Tomorrow will be 9 a.m. Every weekday will be 9 a.m. till 10, hard stop. And you guys got to come with some topics, because that's my weak point. So you guys got to come with the heat. Eastern, 9 a.m. Eastern. And again, listen to Chris's morning call if you're over there. It's a great call. I love listening to that call. I'm really going to miss listening to that call. I listen to those calls every single day. And listen to my call on replay. Javier said, will you be having a shoe call? Absolutely. Daniel, how's it going?
Hey, man. I just got a couple fact checks I want to do real quick. Chris today said he was notified about 5 to 10 minutes before you dropped. I noticed your video said Monday, but I have Tuesday today, so I assume it takes some unknown upload time in the background. Like, what exactly happened? I know you're not going to talk about Chris, but timeline-wise, you just figured out over the weekend and be like, this is what I'm doing?
So it's a very fluid situation. You have to understand that I had a call at 11 a.m. for the 100K call. You have to understand that I also have a 7 o'clock call. You have to understand that there are a lot of outside things totally outside of my control. And you have to understand that this is not my doing. And you have to understand that when texts are sent and when texts are returned are two totally different things. And this is a fluid situation. It should not have been a surprise. If it is a surprise, then unfortunately.
Okay, because I just, kind of known you for years now that you've been on it, and you've always been a 5-year guys in advance. So 5 minutes kind of was like, interesting. But let's not go on that. I actually have an eBay question I'd like to ask
Well,
you.
I spoke to him and said, this is what I'm going to do. And this is what I'm going to do.
Okay. A topic of last month that I'm a month behind on. You did a promoted listings challenge, update, thesis, concept. Did you ever post that or talk about the answers to that? I know I'm behind on the calls a little bit.
No, I said I had a thesis I was working on. Have not gone any further with that.
Okay. Are you still running the thesis of higher promoted listings? I know you upped the items a little bit to see how it rolled. Or do you run out of stuff that you can test it on enough equals?
I'm still trying to figure it out before I can talk about it or make any sort of recommendation, because the ramifications for recommending the wrong thing are humongous. So it is a tremendous responsibility that I do not take lightly.
Okay. Have you ever tested like 100% cotton versus cotton for shirts?
I've never run that test, but I have used both, and I don't know if there is one that is better than the other. I think that if one had a chance of being better than the other, it would be whatever one appears first on item specifics, and it would probably be 100% cotton if there was an edge or a leader.
Yeah, I've found like on women's blouses, I believe it's the opposite. But my theory is not completely worked out itself either. Have you ever ran a test on the word new, where it's located in the title structure? Because from my theory, before you say anything, let me see if we agree. I put the word new at the front of a title thinking, new, blah, blah, blah. And it looks like everything that I had the word new on in the last 6 months just devastated that listing.
I think in the past it was okay to put new brands, whatever, but I think now that hurts you.
Okay. And just one personal comment. I know this is completely off topic, but we talked baseball months in the past.
Yeah.
My child still have a good baseball relationship, and I have not completely overcoached him. And
Nice.
His team did win. I did worry about it because, I want to play to win on baseball, and sometimes my 8-year-old wants to play marbles instead. So I know we talked about that fathering issue, pushing and developing and stuff like that. And I just wanted to give you a small update on that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, catch you later, man.
Good work. Thank you. And just to remind everybody, I am not and was not partners with Chris. I have no ownership stake in any of that stuff. I was a contractor. Angelo.
Hey, Ted, can you hear me?
Yep.
So I have a bit of a noob question, but I hope it's okay if I ask anyway. There's a item on eBay that one seller is selling. So it's a fairly unique item for eBay. It's a vintage rock shirt. And this specific seller is selling it for several $1,000s. And just for giggles, by coincidence, I also have that item. So during this call right now, I listed that item, almost copying this person's listing verbatim. And I pretty much matched his price too. Again, not really expecting much of anything, just kind of curious to see what would happen, but not really expecting anything. So this one seller that's selling this item just sent me an offer within minutes after I posted it. Pretty high offer. It's like $2,000 less than his list price. It's a lot of money, at least for what I'm used to selling for stuff on eBay. I don't see any similar, I don't see any items that have sold like in the last 90 days that are of this t-shirt. So I'm kind of at a loss for like if I should accept this offer or not. So I'm curious, like, what would you do in this situation? I'm almost hard pressed to believe anyone would offer to buy this shirt for several $1,000s aside from this one seller. So I'm kind of curious what you would do in this situation.
So what would I do based on an imaginary shirt with an imaginary starting price and imaginary offer?
I mean, I can tell you the details. I mean, that's not a big deal for me, but the price.
The answer is, if you are happy with the profit and you
Yeah.
can go out and buy more items and make more money, then there's no problem with accepting the offer.
Yeah, so like that's kind of what I'm leaning to do. So I just was curious to see what you would do in this situation. So okay.
Yeah,
think
I like selling items and I like buying more items and I like making more money.
Yeah,
I am not in the storage business.
that's kind of what I needed to hear. Okay, thanks.
Tech, I remember you said once on the podcast that no business ever went out of business by selling profitable items. Simple as that. Just keep selling them.
You got it.
My first thought would be he's doing it so that it's going to be stale and nobody can buy it, but they have to pay for it now before they offer, right?
People are free to do what they want. If someone has money and you're happy with the sales price and you can reinvest it into more inventory that can make you more money, who's to tell anybody not to take it? If you don't want to take it, counter them. No problem. Kayla?
Did anyone ask you about a coupon question on this call yet? About it automatically applying?
You can ask.
Okay, so it was made, I was made aware that if you have a store-wide coupon, that it automatically applies no matter what. If people try and just do an organic sale. Were you aware of that? Was that a new thing? Has it always been that way?
So if you have a store-wide coupon, you're saying that it automatically applies at checkout?
Yes, that's what has been talked about a couple days in the morning call, and then Sally called a rep or spoke to someone higher up, and they confirmed that if you have a store-wide coupon, that when they check out, it automatically applies whether they put the code in or not.
That's also my experience.
So it's always been that way?
It's always been that way for me. Some people have said if you limit the amount of times that they can use it, like if you put 1 or you put 2, that they would have to physically check the coupon on to use. However, I personally have not had that experience. It's always automatically applied for my store.
So for you, do you take that into account when, like, so you just automatically expect them to have a 33% off or whatever your coupon is?
Yeah.
You don't like,
Yeah.
would you consider lowering that?
If someone sent me that offer, I would accept it. So I may as well just give them that kind of deal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do I lose money by doing that? Technically speaking, probably, because how many people would just buy it full price without the coupon? But do I gain more sales because the coupon is automatically applied? Probably. And I think that I sell more items because of the coupon. I don't make less money because of the coupon. That is my personal opinion for how my business is set up.
That makes sense. So you think, would you get the same amount of like traffic boost on your store if you have a lower coupon versus a higher coupon?
So according to the listing quality report, there's a line on there that says, are you running a promotion? And it just says yes or no. So I think due to that, it's just, are you running a coupon? Yes or no?
Gotcha. Okay. Because after finding that out, I was considering lowering my store-wide coupon. If it's just going to automatically apply, but I didn't know if that would make a difference about the amount that it is.
Yeah, it just tells you, are you running a coupon? Yes or no? And due to that, I'm led to believe that it's just having the function, not favoring the percentage of the function. Now, if you have a more enticing percentage, will you get more action? Probably, but does eBay favor it higher percentages? I have not seen that anywhere in the search myself.
Okay. Do you know just right offhand about approximately how many buyers are using mobile versus desktop?
So about 5 years ago, 62% of my buyers were buying on mobile, and that was 5 years ago. Because they used to send out an email that say they were doing a big push to optimize your listings to be mobile friendly. And they would email you every month and say X amount of people bought from your listings on mobile. And way back then, 5 years ago, it was over 60%. I cannot imagine in any sort of capacity that it has decreased or gone down.
Okay. Because when you're buying mobile, your coupon, I mean, it's visible, but it's not as visible as when you're buying on desktop. So I feel like if a lot of people are buying on mobile, the majority, then they might not even notice that you have a coupon. And then, when they're going to buy it, it just automatically applies. I don't know. It just kind of seems kind of silly that it just automatically applies, and that it seems like they're not very transparent with sellers that that's how that works. But I guess that's just the name of the game.
Yeah. All right. I mean, if it's going to be automatically applied, then it's automatically applied. But like, if it's not shown to the buyer, then, that's not very helpful. So I don't think that it's perfect, but I think that, I think it's a good tool to utilize if you have the ability to do so. Taylor?
This is a hypothetical, if you're willing to entertain it. If you were in charge of eBay, if you were making all the rules, what would you do? What changes would you make site-wise, either to improve the experience for the buyer or for the seller, if any?
Taylor, you know that these are not my strong point, these hypothetical wishes.
That was a hard one too, Taylor.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's the right person to ask, though.
I got one. Michelle, you remember back in the day? This would help. This would help sellers. You remember back in the day when eBay was losing their butt by mailing out, or just by emailing out, here's a free $10 off whatever purchase. It doesn't matter what amount it is. There's just $10. That would help sellers, because man, I was rocking and rolling when they were emailing out those coupons.
Those eBay bucks.
It was on top of eBay bucks. It was here's $10 off for whatever reason, no reason.
Yeah.
But I know eBay lost their butt and they were losing a tremendous amount of money. And people were kind of gaming the system because they had multiple accounts, so they were just using multiple coupons. It was kind of like an eBay stimulus. Absolutely, it was. Yeah.
They
great
stopped
last
that
year.
because people were getting free stuff a whole bunch.
Yeah, those were the days, man. Oh, Sarah got a good one. I would combine the sweaters sweatshirts and hoodie categories. I would combine those into one. Grayland has a good one. Improve combined shipping process. That is a great one. Have it be more than 40 items would be great. And have combined shipping for global shipping program, which they say they're working on. That would also be great. As for everything else, I don't know. Thank you, Taylor. Andre said eBay recently. Oh, that's a good one too. Remove listings before they went up for Vero. On the ones that are like so common, like Velcro, they should have a big red neon sign that says you can't use the word Velcro. Like there's a bunch of words and terms that eBay knows you can't use, but like they allow especially new sellers to use those. And I just think that that's like really confusing, where they might have listed their first item and used Velcro and it got taken down, and like it's just a weird situation and hard to understand. So like maybe some sort of big red banner that you can't use this word, please change it, and then press submit. That would be very helpful. Onesie is another one. Yeah. And same for if, automatically reject listings that can't be listed internationally. Yeah, like brand new Nike, brand new Levi's, but I don't know, you probably get into a lot more legalities with that. But like the onesie and the Velcro, I mean, it just, just have, oh, they do that with Velcro now? That's great.
Yeah, they got like a banner that pops up for Velcro.
Great.
But yeah.
Oh, and Tom just reminded me of this one. Instead of the no thank you button, the green sign, I'm on and open. I'm open. Just let everyone know. I'm open. I'm at the computer. I'm open. Good ideas, everybody. All right. Andre said eBay recently sent an email that charitable donations beginning in November will be deducted automatically. Is there any evidence to suggest that benefits charity has higher placement than non-promoted listings? There is no evidence at all reflecting that. And somebody did an experiment, a pretty in-depth experiment, and they did not experience any sort of increase in sales. All right. What else do we got on this side?
Did you answer my question about the savings?
Go ahead, Max. What do you got?
With your savings, did you keep the deal of a lifetime savings in the year emergency fund like together or separate, or you wait till it goes to a certain amount and then separate it? Like how do you think about that?
I am not very good at doing that. It just, everything is separated. All of my businesses are separated into their own accounts, but like I don't separate separate accounts all the time. Sometimes I do, most of the time I do, but like I could probably be better at doing that. But so I guess yes and no is the answer, and it's not a clear answer, but it's something that I'm working on. But everything is separate, just to not commingle anything. But yeah, it's something every day that I'm working to get better at. Pixie?
So, as you're starting to travel and not be like tied to your eBay store as you have in the past, like, are you daily still doing shipping, and having someone do that, or have you adjusted your handling time to more than one day, or do you only change it when you're traveling and going to be gone?
As of now, I have not changed the handling time at all. I still have same day handling for everything. So I have not crossed that bridge or ventured into that territory as of yet.
Okay. So then that was kind of like defeats my next question is, have you noticed anything based on what you have done? Or do you have any tips for anyone else on how to keep the account stabilized for traveling?
So I've never done that. I've always kept the same handling time. And but I think, you know, the best practice would of course be have your drafts go live while you're gone. Try to maintain as close to business as usual as possible. If you can extend your handling time, it's probably better than going on vacation or time away. But if it's too long to extend your handling time, then of course you are forced to do time away or vacation. So I guess list your drafts, extend your handling time, reduce your handling time as it gets closer. But if it's longer than the threshold for handling time, then list your drafts and go on time away.
Got a question.
Omar?
Yeah. It's like, you know, I've been in the group for a while. I've been out the loop. I haven't been, you know, logging in, but you think you'll make an exception as far as with the 100K group? If we didn't get to the 100K for 2023?
No exceptions. But I have good news for you.
Okay.
The information in the 100K call is the same information right here. It's the same. There's no secrets. There's no cult. There's no nothing. It's the same information that you get right here. And if anyone wants to know what we're working on in the 100K call, I am more than happy to share, and you guys can work along and follow at home.
Okay. All right. How about I made 100? I made 108 on 2020.
If you did 108, then you're in.
Yeah, but not for 23. I think for 23, I'm gonna be short. That was for 22. I made 108.
Well, congratulations. Get back on it, and we get you in there, man.
All right. Thanks, Zach.
Danny said, are you going to change your description that says you ship items every single day? Now that you may or may not ship every day, I have never said I am not shipping every day. So there's no change required. Susan?
Oh, hi. I had a question on the about a case that someone opened up for me that the item wasn't received. It had been like 2 weeks and they hadn't received it.
Okay.
And then I filed a missing mail, and then I waited till the night before it was gonna stop with eBay, and there's no movement at all. And I called eBay, and the lady, I said, well, it hurt my metrics. And she goes, well, you could refund them and then you can appeal it. So I refunded the person, but like, was that the right thing to do? So
if the item does not have confirmed tracking, then you must refund the buyer. In the regards for the appeal, if you can provide tracking number that has been delivered, I guess eBay is giving you the chance and the opportunity to appeal at that time, but you will not win an appeal under any circumstance if the item is not scanned delivered.
yeah, it had the initial tracking. It had been at that point 2.5 weeks, and nothing had happened. There was no movement for 2.5 weeks, even after I did missing mail. So I went ahead and was that the right thing to do to refund her? Because I could tell I wouldn't win it.
No, that was the correct thing to do. And if you shipped it ground advantage or priority, you do get a free $100 insurance. So you can file a claim with the post office, upload the tracking number that this item was lost, upload a screenshot of what the item was, how much it sold for, and that the buyer's been refunded, and the post office should send you a check in the mail.
Well, this happened last week, and guess what? It just arrived there.
Okay, if it just arrived, then eBay said you can appeal it. You can appeal it if you wish. It has arrived. Maybe eBay will pay you out of their pocket. They will not take the funds from the buyer and pay you with those funds, but eBay may pay you out of their pocket. So if you wish to appeal, there's nothing wrong with doing that.
And I forgot how you appeal. How would I do that? It's because it's kind of closed, and it makes sense. It's been closed. The case.
Yeah, it's closed, but then you can there is a space on the case that says you can appeal. It's usually a blue button.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll look at that. Okay, thanks. That helps. It's like,
Thank
what do
you.
you do, right?
Yeah, you did the right thing, but it's that's only happened like less than 10 times in my eBay career out of hundreds of thousands of packages. It's one of
No,
those things.
it doesn't happen. It hasn't happened to me for way over a year. So you're right. It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, just keep trucking.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, thank you. Oh, Johnny? Johnny?
Hey, hey, what's going on? I'm having like an issue, I guess, with the package thing too. It's saying it wasn't received, but it's also in the tracking information. It says still moving through the Miami network. So I don't like know. I like updated the tracking and gave a tracking to let the eBay know that it's a postal issue and not my issue.
Okay.
So I don't know, like, should I send like a screenshot showing there? But and I think they also told me that the buyer still wants it. I guess they're just saying they haven't gotten it yet.
All right. Can you run through that one more time, please?
So I sent something out and they put like a item wasn't received case. And when I go through the tracking, it just shows that it's moving through the network. It's going to be arrived later than usual or something like that.
Okay.
And I just,
If you're running out of time, as long as the item has been scanned, anytime in the last 10 days, you could call eBay and eBay can extend the case another 10 business days. And that's usually all it takes for the item to arrive.
oh, okay. So like, I guess, call eBay and then I guess would they notify the postal service to kind of like put a pep in their step or something, or like I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, you can open a missing mail claim with the post office. That will hopefully put a pep in their step. And then if you are running out of time for the eBay case, you could call eBay, say, hey, this item is still moving through the system. It has a recent scan. eBay could put the case on hold, and then hopefully the item arrives before the case closes after the additional hold and after you have open that case for missing mail to kind of put a pep in their step.
Okay. Yeah, because it also said, like I also said, they say they still want it. So like, I guess like when will like eBay I guess prompt me to like refund them or something like that? Like after the case or after they do some like resolution or something?
Have they opened up an item not received case?
Yes.
Okay, then on that case, it will tell you that you have to refund the buyer by X date.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Eduardo, please tell me you have a missing mail question from Panama, please.
I don't.
Okay, thank you.
I actually have like a user kind of a question. Like I purchased something on eBay and I just noticed that it's missing one part that should be included and it's not included because the guy said it was complete. And when I try to contact the seller, it has no, like, I click contact. I went to the order, clicked on contact, and eBay doesn't let me do anything. And there's only like, how can I contact the seller? And then it says via phone number and it gives me their phone. That's it. Like, it doesn't let me send them a message to ask or to say anything, or it doesn't let me even open a case or anything. It just, and it's a brand new, well, I don't want to say brand new order, but it was, the order was from October 4th. So
Yeah, you should be able to open a case by then. Just for clarification, this is the same account that you purchased the item with, right? It's not a different account?
it's the same account, correct. And the weird thing is that I don't even want to return it. I actually just want that. I want that part that's missing. That's all. I'm just wondering why doesn't it let me? I had never seen. I purchased a lot over eBay. That's my sourcing system. And in all my years of doing eBay, I had never encountered a way that I couldn't contact the seller via messages. It only lets me give them a phone call pretty much. So weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Maybe you gotta pick up the horn and say "Que paso?"
Okay. Okay, I'll call eBay. I'll call eBay on my concierge thing and I'll figure it out. Thank you, man. Just curious if you had ever seen that.
I've never seen that before.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rachel B.
I just had a quick comment for Ojani because I just had a very similar situation to what he's dealing with. Like someone somewhere, I don't know whether it was like eBay's system or what, marked the item as delivered, even though the USPS tracking was still showing as in transit. And I let the buyer know, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine. And it was actually like on a return. So I was like, I'll issue the refund as soon as I get the item back. But I think that because this is not the first or second time I've heard this, it's multiple times. I think someone somewhere is like marking the transactions or the items as delivered before they're actually getting delivered. And somehow eBay's getting that information. But what happened to me was like the buyer hadn't opened a case. It was like an automatic thing that happened through eBay because eBay's system was showing it as delivered and was prompting me to issue a refund. So I didn't do anything. And I messaged the buyer and I let her know. And it just like automatically extended the time that the like before the case got opened. And then, I received it and I accepted it and I issued the refund. But like it didn't ever actually turn into a case, but it was really strange. So this seems to be happening more with the new Ground Advantage. I don't know why, because I've heard other sellers have a similar issue. So I don't know if that's helpful, but I didn't have to contact eBay. They just kept it open automatically.
Thank you. Yeah, a couple of people have said there's been some wonky things going on with the tracking numbers, but yeah, good to know. And Johnny says thank you. All right. I have a question. A buyer left me negative feedback saying they never received the item. According to the eBay, the item was received on September 27th. They messaged the buyer, wondering if it was a mistake. You say you never received the item and then I need to check USPS website where it shows not delivered. Do you think eBay will remove the feedback since it's showing delivered? Absolutely, they will. Call eBay. Show them that the tracking does indicate that it is delivered, and you should not have a problem with them removing that feedback. What else do we got?
Got another question.
Okay.
Okay. So while watching your latest video, your New York City one, you were pushing those silver bubble things and like batting a couple of them. And I believe you batted one, I'm guessing towards your wife.
And she hit one right back to me.
Yeah. And it's the first time like your expression was like this playful side instead of just like the serious all business side. And you had mentioned in another video with Mel, when the Disney one, that you learned a lot from her. And I was wondering if you used to enjoy, and I don't mean this like unkindly, but you used to enjoy life, or that's something that you learned from Mel, or something you had to kind of keep at bay to kind of keep like your brain and your focus on eBay. And so I wanted to find out if like how has slowing down your life on eBay, has that affected that side of you?
So you guys know me on Tuesday at 7 p.m. That's all you know of me.
Right.
I am not a robot. I am a regular person. I have fun.
I understand that. You just
I
said that.
laugh. I joke. I have a huge bruise on my knee from playing my son in basketball. There's a lot of different sides to me outside of me coming here, doing my job, and answering everybody's questions to the best of my ability and providing quality answers and, performing my duties. But when I am here at 7 o'clock on Zoom, I do take it very seriously. I do understand the responsibility. And there's a time and a place for that. And that is not this time and not this place, in my opinion.
All right, thank you. I was just curious.
I understand. A lot of people probably have that curiosity, but there are many facets of me outside of Zoom at 7 p.m. But I'm here to perform a duty and I am here to do a job. Fino says, are you seeing any changes with feedback removal related to ease of getting things removed? So when they changed their kind of stance, I have stopped attempting or trying to get it removed. When they were allowing everybody to remove everything, I was getting what I could get removed. So from what I have read, people are having an easier time getting it removed under, I believe it's ebay.com/seller help. So I guess that is the recommendation of eBay, is when you call them, they tell you to fill up the website. And from what I can gather, from what I have read, people are having better luck using the ebay.com/seller help. Kim, you'll have to re-put it. I'm sorry. Yvonne says you've probably already answered. Are we still doing the deep dive sheet? We are. Christine.
Okay, so you knew that, or you know that I had all of that stuff that I was putting onto Facebook Marketplace, correct?
I remember.
Yeah, from the thing. So I had 377 items in total. What I did was wait, let me back up. I don't want to sit on this stuff. I want it to move fast. What I've done is I've split up some of the items. I sold 46 jeans for 150, just gone. I listed them and they were gone. I sold 29 shirts for $35. They're gone. But I still have this lot of 200 and I'm getting lots of clicks and very few inquiries. So because I want to get it gone, and those other bundles that I did that were smaller, I put them, the jeans, I didn't have sizes. The bundles that I did was extra large. All of them were, I'm sorry, 2XLs. So what I'm thinking is it wouldn't take me very long, but just to separate, 40 shirts in size large, 40 shirts in size medium, and just redo the photos real quick. That way they can go quicker. Because like I said, there's a whole bunch of clicks onto the item, but no actual interest or talking to me about it.
Okay. So you're asking why?
No, I'm asking, I'm asking that if I made them smaller, do you think they might sell quicker? Because I want them gone.
Smaller lots?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I think so too. I'm thinking, I just wanted to make sure that I was kind of thinking my head, if it would be a good idea, and I just wanted to run it by. So cool. Yeah, because the smaller ones are selling. So other than that, the inventory project is over. It's done.
Nice. Good job.
Yeah.
Good work. Feel better?
I had a meltdown Wednesday.
And that's okay. That's okay.
And I did not see, I did not even, I couldn't see the garage door, man. It was horrible. My motorcycles were all, you couldn't see my motorcycles. You couldn't do it. It was horrible.
That's all right. Just try not to go down the same path.
No. Never again. Never again.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
All right. Kim says, used to rank pretty high when searching on a private tab. Now I don't see my listings at all, either sponsored or organic on the first or second page. How do I figure out what changed? Jewelry title structure is still all over the place. Can't figure that out. So some search terms on eBay in the last couple of weeks have been a little bit messed up. I know somebody did a search for napkin and like 2 items showed up when there should be several. So it could be like some of those like obscure listings, obscure keywords in that particular category, could be affected by what eBay is doing. And if you remember, for a couple of weeks, eBay was running a test with reduced item specifics. And then they've kind of walked that back and saying that they're going to put it back to what it currently is or what it currently was before they decided to run the test. Obviously, they saw that for whatever reason that didn't work. So you never know. Like sometimes maybe they're running experiments on certain categories, on certain phrases or words. But I think like for that question, I think like on the jewelry call, that would probably be like a great conversation for an entire call, is to try to figure out what has changed with the ranking of jewelry listings, and having the luxury of many other people, and then you guys can kind of try to figure out some patterns or figure out things that you would like to experiment with or change or try. That's probably the best bet, because it's really hard to know what exactly is going on without really looking intensive at the category or the items in question. But I think that would be a fantastic call and a fantastic thing to talk about and try to learn and study. Harold said they're switching to pre-owned clothes, mainly jeans, because the supply is drying up too often in the new category. I get doing the homework and learning, but that's not how I learn. I don't retain information like that. Any information on how to hit the ground running until I can learn by doing and selling. So go to the thrift store. If something piques your interest, look it up, do the research while you're sourcing. It's going to slow you down a little bit, but it will prevent you from buying items that are not good. But I think even if like sitting down and learning brands is not the best way for you personally, you can learn the key indicators that present themselves when something is of quality. So let's just use vintage shirts as an example. The tags, we can learn the tags. We can learn the country that it was manufactured. We can learn the material. Is it polyester cotton blend? Is it a tri-blend? Does it have rayon in it? Is it single stitch? All of those things are indicators that we can look at to see, is this an item that I should investigate further? So pick up a shirt. I remember seeing this tag from this country with this kind of blend, with this kind of stitch. This is an item that I should look at further, versus this does not check off any of the boxes. Therefore, let's try to find items that do check off the boxes that I know today now, until you learn more boxes to check off as you do more searches, as you touch more stuff, as you gain more experience.
It's Tech. I was in my business policies, and I was doing what I should have done a long time ago. I was changing over to 60-day free returns, setting up standard shipping, and I noticed that when I went in there to clean up the items, of course, it was huge. It was just all kinds of stuff that I had created. It was a mess. And as I was cleaning them up and getting the standard shipping set up, I noticed that it was only applying to half of my listings. And is there something keeping me from being able to apply it, like items that I have marked out? Oh, that's what it is.
No, it's probably items that you've either sent offers or have open offers of. You can't edit a listing that has an outstanding offer, because that's kind of like a switcheroo. Like here's an offer underneath these terms, but when you buy it, the terms have changed.
Gotcha.
So you might have to circle back every day for like the next 2 or 3 days, probably 3 days, because offers go out for 48 hours. So after 3 days, circle back, keep adding them. And after 3 days, you should probably get pretty much all of them covered.
Okay, yeah, because it was like 1,000 items. I was gonna say, I know I don't have that many offers out, but
Or
I'll
do
do
you
that.
send offers to buyers or
Oh
send
yeah,
offers to watchers?
I send offers to watchers multiple times a day.
Yeah, all that adds up.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So just
Okay.
circle back and then in 3, 4, or 5 days, you're still having an issue, then it could be something else, but usually that's exactly what it is that there's an outstanding offer, therefore you can't update the listing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Seb said, how many days before vacation do I need to increase my handling time? I would not do it the day before. I would give yourself at least a couple of days, but the most important thing to consider is that, just like we spoke with Tom, when items sell, you sell them under those exact contract terms. It doesn't matter that you went on vacation the next day or a couple of days later. That item was sold under the previous contract of, I will ship this item out tomorrow, or I will ship this item out today. So you have to be really careful about when you're sending out offers, when you are accepting offers, because if you change your handling time on an item that was purchased before your handling time was changed, eBay will expect you and require you to get that item out as it was advertised. So you might have to take that thing on vacation. You might have to find a local post office. eBay expects you to ship that item out in accordance to the terms that it was sold on. Dino?
Hey, Tech, quick question. I just came out in my garage and I found a package that I don't know how I missed it when I was doing my shipping yesterday. Is there a way to find the original ship by date on the order?
So you printed this package?
Yeah, this is one of my packages from, I think I shipped yesterday.
Okay, no problem. Go to your awaiting shipment or your awaiting payment screen, or your paid and shipped, any one of those screens. Right at the top, they have a bar, and you can search by the customer's name.
Okay.
And then it will show you who it belongs to. You have to go to search by customer name, search by buyer name, and then select the paid and shipped option. And then it will come up to exactly who it was.
I see who it was. What I'm trying to see is I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm going to put it, it's going to go out tomorrow, obviously, but I'm trying to see if I can see the original ship by date.
It will tell you on there too when it was sold. And then it will probably also tell you on your label what date it was printed. And it's either that day or the next day.
So just do the math by the date it was sold with my handling time. Okay.
Yeah. And then try not to do that anymore.
Yeah, it's sitting on a white box. That's why in the package is white. So
happens to the best of us, man. I remember one time when I used to cram my car full of packages, that I left a whole tote in the trunk one time, and it was like 20 packages. We're talking, this was 10 years ago when they weren't as strict. I don't think they didn't have a handling time back then. They had no handling time back then. It was between you and the buyer. But I remember I popped open my trunk for something and I was like, oh man. But I shipped them out. It was all good, but we didn't have a handling time back then.
Yeah, no bin, just the one. But yeah, if I saw a bin, I'd probably be going to the post office right now. Like,
oh
yeah. Get in there.
Yeah. No, luckily that was the days before handling time. And I now always check my trunk for whatever reason. I check behind the seats, under the seats. If I ever put packages in my car, I triple check everywhere. But yeah, once upon a time.
Yeah, this is a first for me, so it's not like I have it, but I just came out here to, listen to the call, enjoy the rain, and I'm like, what is this package doing here? So
very good. Thank you.
Hey, that happened to me with a whole tote as well, but I ran to the post office and used the kiosk before midnight, and they were registered at ship by midnight from the kiosk.
So the kiosk is technically a different scan. That is a receive scan. It's not an acceptance scan, because you could have turned around and walked out the door with those. However, it is better than nothing. And if I was in Fino's position, there's probably nothing wrong with going to the post office and getting that kiosk scan for sure. And if I was Freddie, I would have did the same thing. But technically speaking, it is a different scan. In eBay's opinion, the accepted, which is scanned by a human being and verified and vetted that the item is in the post office's possession, versus received, which is the printout from the kiosk. But I would have done the same thing. I would have rushed over there and I would have used the kiosk and thank my lucky stars that was available.
All right, well, I'm gonna go try that right now then.
I mean, dude, at the end of the day, it's one. You know, and who knows, maybe you're just one day out, whatever. If you want to run over there and do that, no problem. But it's probably fine. I don't see you as like a habitual late shipper. I've never known you to be that. So if you're concerned metrics wise, I wouldn't be concerned. If you are concerned customer service wise and you wish to get it out, amen. All right. Wayne said, if my expectations and metrics are now higher for what goes into my store, what are your thoughts on best way to remove old listings that just aren't good enough? Per to them, aggressive sales, some are just not good enough. So we did touch on this a little bit ago, but we'll run back through it real quick. So you have several options. You can use any of the options in the markdown tab, promotion tab. You can mark them down. You can run a coupon. You can increase promoted listings. You can fire up your newsletter. You can send more aggressive offers to watchers. You can utilize buyer groups. If that doesn't work, then you can increasingly become more enticing. If that doesn't work, you could do an aged inventory markdown process, where as the item gets older, you mark it down more. If that doesn't work, you have the option of running a listing, running an auction where you can start it at a price you would be happy with if it received one bid. If it receives no bids, run the auction again if you choose. You can also lower the price of the auction to a very minimal 99-cent starting price. If it still doesn't sell after you've marked it down, after you've run an auction, after you've run a very cheap auction, you can take the items down. You can run a garage sale. You can do a flea market. You can bulk it up and sell it to somebody else. Or you can take it behind the barn, or you can take it to a thrift store and donate it. Those are the options. Those are the choices. I know a lot of people have their hand up, just catching in the chat real quick. Is it better to launch listings and send out offers throughout the entire day or a specific time of day? The best time to list your items is when your buyers are online. If your buyers are online at 3 o'clock in the morning, then that would be the best time, technically speaking, for you to list your items. Most people, their buyers are not on at 3 o'clock in the morning, so that's probably not the best time for most people, but that is the example and that is the principle. Is it best to send out offers throughout the day? The way that offers to watchers work, eBay limits the communication that any one buyer can receive. They will not let a buyer get blown up with millions and millions of offers from sellers. Once they have reached their cap, eBay will eliminate them out of the potential offer receiving pool, and you will no longer be able to send an offer to that particular person. So that would mean if you were first to send out the offer, odds are you would have a better chance of that buyer receiving the offer versus sending it out at the end of the day and potentially a bunch of other people sending out offers and have kind of beaten you to the punch and that buyer being eliminated from your pool. Okay. Kayla?
You may have just answered this, but what is your strategy for sending out offers, like time-wise?
Um,
I heard Isaiah mention that he has a specific strategy for when he sends them out. I wasn't sure if you had them too.
I do. So I respond to questions all throughout the day. I respond to offers all throughout the day. I send offers to watchers all throughout the day.
So you don't wait for a specific, like let them build up and then send them out?
I'm trying to sell items today. I'm not waiting for nothing.
Gotcha.
Opus said, correct me if I botched this. You've had your 20 go-to brands that you've sold on the eBay platform. Have you ever had 20 brands? Do you feel like there was an advantage, benefit to picking up lean brands, price buckets, knowledge efficiently, streamlining listings? So I don't know if it's 20 brands. I don't know what the exact number is. I just know that I have specific brands. It is not a huge array or variety in my opinion, but I do have specific brands that I continuously pick up for all the reasons that you've listed: price buckets, knowledge efficiently, and streamlining my listings and all of my processes. Christine?
So we were just talking about offers, and I've been thinking about my offer process for the last couple of days, and what I've realized is that I do not have my counter offer button clicked. Now, here's what I want help with is.
Hold on real quick, please. When you're
Yeah.
sending offers to watchers, you're saying you don't have the allow counter offer button clicked?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So yes. So when I do that, because I think that it's going to be a good thing for me to do that, to have that available. I think more people might be open to negotiate a little bit more. My thought is it's going to have to be kind of a quick thing, because I don't want to, contemplate it all afternoon or like for 4 or 5 minutes. What I need help with is understanding, what do I need to look for? Just I don't know how to figure out how to accept or to counter again with that person. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So why do you not know if to accept or counter? What is the thought process?
If I send out an offer to somebody and then they counter back to me, if I want to have a rule on how much, or a guideline of how much I can take off without losing my butt or shooting myself in the foot, I need to kind of understand a little bit more so that I don't lose my money and just go, oh, okay, yeah. Because I know it's a fast process of when they counter, while it's hot and they're there. I want to be able to work with them, but I don't want to shoot myself in the foot. So how do I do that what information do I need to collect in my brain before I start doing that? Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. And you've done the exercise $1 sale to $100 sale, right?
Yeah.
That's your cheat sheet for everything. You reference that every single time an offer comes in, or every single time you wish to send an offer. That is your holy grail. That's it.
Okay. That's
Right?
it. That's a very, I don't know why I make things so hard, but I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
But that's it, right? It makes sense, right?
Yes, I don't even know. I mean, I'm thinking, but I've got to be able to work fast because I don't want to do that. No.
No, that's your cheat sheet. That's the holy grail. That is your rules for your business.
Right on.
Yeah, you
Okay.
got it. Melanie, what's up?
Hi. Oh boy, I got a handful of questions. I'll try to make it quick.
Let's go, rapid fire.
Oh, okay, rapid fire.
No,
Yeah,
take your time.
I don't want to
Take
do
your-
that. It's been one of those days.
No, take your
Okay.
time. Whatever you got to do.
Oh, okay. So a little bit about me. This is my third time trying to sell on eBay, and I'm not saying trying because I am not giving up. I just have to keep plugging away. So I keep following you, trying to implement, because I was one of those sellers. Like, I started in 2007 selling electronics, flipping Wii's, and then I moved into whatever I could find in like 2016, 17, and then years off because I work full time. So I'm trying to work this in so someday I can cut back a little. Anyway, so I'm kind of trying to work my brain outside of this stuff that, you tell everybody quit buying all the cheap stuff. And I live in a tiny apartment. I had 500 listings and couldn't find anything. So now I'm down to 250, and I'm trying to just take it slow, follow your guidelines, but I'm getting stuck on So I'm trying to educate myself better. I'm trying to look up the items, research, going on to Terapeak, looking at the graph that you talk about, you know, how frequent. And but when I go, say I pick something up and then I go to list it and I'm all the way down at the end, and then it gives this little blurb saying that the average sale price is lower than what I'm seeing on Terapeak. And
Okay.
it's like throwing me off. So then I figure, well, if a buyer sees that information too, so then I'm changing my price, and then maybe I haven't met my metric, or I'm kind of worried about my pricing. So what would you suggest for me on that? Do I just want to trust Terapeak? I remember in your videos too, you said when we look up stuff like on the zip code call, right, to look up, use the left hand bar to mark the boxes in the zip code area. Is it better to use that, or am I just confusing myself?
No problem.
Isn't coming out of
Let me get
tell
all
the
these
big guy
people.
we're going to need to order a part.
All right, I got them. All right. So just to clarify, when you're listing an item down by the price, you see their suggested price.
Right.
Okay. Disregard that.
Okay. Okay.
Disregard that. Trust your Terapeak and your eBay sold comps
Okay.
way more than what their suggested price. That price is always incorrect.
Okay. Okay. Does the buyer see that price?
No.
Okay. 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 All right. So, and then the other one question that I have is kind of two in one on the listing quality report. Okay. When I look at mine, my keywords, I need to work on, and I guess I kind of, I don't know, I'm like old school, like all the brands that I used to know kind of like are not popular anymore. So I'm still trying to re-educate myself. But like there's a couple of my listings that only had like 1 or 2 keywords, right? So what would you suggest for me about the keywords? Because like I'm researching, but because time is money, but time is limited, and I feel like I'm not diving deep enough. I don't know, what would you suggest to get better at my keywords?
All right, great. So eBay doesn't do a real good job on their definition of keywords. However, I think we've kind of leaned towards, if it is an item specific,
Okay.
eBay doesn't count it as a keyword on the listing quality report. So let's say you're putting in the title short sleeve, and short sleeve also appears in the item specifics. eBay doesn't count that as a keyword. So I try to use different synonyms, like for sweater, for example, you can put sweater in item specifics. You could put pullover, crew neck, jumper, some people use, sweatshirt. Those would all be keywords that we believe are counted in the listing quality report underneath the keyword section. So if you're using the same ones as item specifics, that may be a reflection on that.
Okay. Because I quit using like pullover and all that, because most of the time, like when I'm looking at other listings, and I don't see that being used very often unless it is in the item specific. Like I used to put it in my title. I don't put it in my title anymore.
Well, we want to try to catch the person that does search crew neck, that does search sweatshirt, in addition to the buyer that does search sweaters.
Okay.
We want to get all of them. So if you are looking for a Calvin Klein, something with long sleeves that keeps you warm, right?
Right.
You know what I'm describing.
Right.
You're going to say sweater. Juanita's going to say pullover. Jack's going to say crew neck. Eduardo's going to say jumper. We want to get them all.
Right. The more the merrier.
Right.
Okay.
So all those item specifics, try to figure out keywords that are synonyms to those, that we can cast a wider net in search and be able to show up on more searches. Because if we don't show up on the search, we cannot be bought.
Right. True. Okay. And then the other thing I was gonna ask was, because I know not to top do the send offers thing, but just so if I have watchers, okay, is there a way to automatically send them or because like I periodically throughout the day, I mean, I work 50 hours a week, but if I can get on my phone, if I see a thing where it says send offers, I send offers, right? And I'm trying to clear out the old, I'll accept a lower offer than maybe I wanted originally, because I'm like, okay, I keep thinking what you said, you know, we want many in, but can I automatically send? Because I know that like if I put something in my cart, right? If I'm shopping for something like ink or something, right? Somebody, all of a sudden, I will get within an hour or two an offer, or that'll say, hey, you forgot this in your cart.
Yep.
So how would I do that?
So there is a method of doing it, but you have to send the offers first individually. If you're bulk sending offers to watchers, it doesn't give you the ability to do so. But if you have 10 and you send 10 individual offers, there's a checkbox that says automatically send this offer to other interested buyers.
Oh, okay. Okay. And usually I'm not getting, because I'm like, yeah, I don't have that many. Okay. Because I'm kind of down there. Okay. All right. I think you answered it. And by the way, your video of you in New York, and I realize you're on here and you're all professional. When I watch you do those videos, it's like you come alive. And I know you are being present and stuff, but I was laughing, and I was even showing my daughter your video. I'm like, hey, check this guy out. He's out there having fun. Yeah. So
It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Opus, what's up?
What's up, man? Back to what I was asking you. And the reason why I was asking, because I don't know, like through, I guess, my reselling career, sometimes it takes a while for me to learn stuff, but like once things click, I'm like, you have that aha moment. So about a month or so ago, I did a big buy on Harley shirts. And in the past, you know, I would find like a Harley shirt at the thrift, list it. It would kind of go unnoticed, fall into the mix of things. I would mark it down and eventually it would sell. But when I did this big Harley purchase, I did found about 300 pieces and got them for about $1 a piece. And that's all I listed for until I had them all up. And I sold, what did I sell? Hold on, I have it all written down here. I sold through 66% of that inventory in a little over a month and did about 826% on the return of investment so far. And the reason why I was asking you about that, keeping a lean brand list, because it feels like if you just kind of go out and buy anything, it just kind of falls in the mix. But if you keep that lean brand mix, or if you keep a lean brand, I guess, Rolodex, that kind of keeps, you know what I mean? It just gains traction. And that, I don't know, just with that Harley thing, it kind of clicked. And I've been selling that stuff like crazy.
Yeah, so this is speculation, but if I was eBay and you did a great job selling this particular product, I would want to send buyers to you.
Yeah.
No returns, no bad feedback, no issues. I would have confidence on you converting on sales for this particular brand, product, or category, and I would have confidence in funneling you buyers.
Yeah, and I even noticed like man, I got like well, I got repeat buyers out of it, a lot of them.
Absolutely. And
not only
you
that,
get those people, hey, follow my store. I list stuff like this all the time.
Yeah.
Hit them.
Well, the other thing too is what I found interesting is I kind of thought I was getting scammed. So I mean, I've had multi-quantity orders, but like, you know, someone picks up 2 or 3 items.
Yeah, you were selling so many items, you were getting nervous.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, this has to, like, I was getting nervous because just in the, you know, over the last couple of years, just hearing some of the horror stories where, like, I mean, I had someone buy 12, 15 shirts at a pop, and I was like, oh man, what if they get a bunch of these and a few of them don't fit?
Right. Or what if they keep them and they never write back to you and they buy more?
That's true. I guess there's always the alternative side. But it was a good experience, an experiment, but yeah, it just seems like all your little bits of knowledge over the years kind of came together and clicked that. And that's where I was. So here's the other thing too. I've noticed by so since I was only in for like $1 a pop on these, I was able to get up so many more. So I usually list like 10 is my average that I try to get up a day, at least for the rest of this year. Next year is whenever I'm going to step it up a bit, but throughout the rest of this year, that's my goal, is just 10. The efficiency of getting them up. So since I was only in for $1 a shirt, I did not care to look up to see if this one sold for $28 or $26 or $22 or even $40. Like, my method of getting all this stuff up is if it was a t-shirt, I would list it for like $18.99. And this was all women's Harley shirts, by the way. If it was like a long sleeve with some, like embroidery or some kind of embellishment, I would list that for like $24.97 or $26.97. If it was a hoodie, I would do $39.97. Didn't even bother like looking up other comps for that shirt to see if it could have sold for higher. Like, I was happy with that because I bought it for $1. I wanted to move it quick and make that money and just get through this stuff. But yeah, I noticed by just kind of crushing through it like that, the efficiency I was able to get, and I think that helped too, because I didn't, the efficiency, is that kind of where you fall in, like when you talk about price buckets?
Not exactly, because I price the item for what it is worth. I don't just price the item due to me getting them for cheap and they're all alike. So like, I mean, some Harley shirts are worth $3,000. Some Harley shirts are worth $10. I don't just bucket price and it is what it is. It's a case by case basis. But the bucket price is, here's my starting price. I know where I need to be based on this starting price, where the buyer is going to send me an offer. And anything above that threshold where I think they're going to send me the offer is just icing on the cake for me, because I'm willing to accept this bottom price that I've priced it in accordance to. So just as an example, if I had an item that I wanted to sell for $30, as an example, maybe I price it $39.99. And if they send me 30, I take it. They send me 32, I take it. They send me 36, I take it. Any price above 30 with a starting price of $39.99, I'm taking that offer. So the bucket is on a case by case basis. What is this item going to sell for? How far away can I get from what the buyer is willing to offer before they choose not to offer? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that helps a bit. It almost feels like this kind of goes back to whenever you said, just to pull in, you said a quote, and again, correct me if I misquote you, but you said something like, if you want to sell more hats, list more hats.
Yeah, you got it.
You said something along those lines, and it just feels like I wish I could find deals like this pop up all the time, where I can keep like a lean 10 to 15 brand Rolodex, and that's all I go to, but I have to deviate from that. So I feel like, I might find a couple Peter Millars and then I'll list those, but I won't find them for another 3 months. And it feels like, I throw up that listing and it kind of just gets lost in the ocean. And then I find myself having to mark that down over time. But if I found, 30 or 40 of them in a short period of time, then it just seems like it makes it more relevant and it pushes it up in the listing. Does that make sense? Because that's kind of what my experience was with this Harley experiment. By listing those a lot, I just kept getting pushed up and up and up. And you would type in, Harley woman shirt, and like there would be like all my stuff was at the top because I was listing it more frequent instead of just a one-off with months pass.
Yeah. So
I don't know, that might be speculation, but
yeah. So there may be a slight correlation with that based on what I said earlier. you're gaining confidence in selling that category. And if it goes that deep, that brand or that style. But what we also have to remember is let's say you bought 100 Harley shirts. You've sold 66 of them and it's been a month or 2 months, right?
Yeah.
We don't know if the remaining 33 aren't going to sell for a year. We just remember the 66 that sold. We forget about the ones that don't sell. So same for the Peter Millar, like there's probably still a few stragglers from that deal, but we just remember, oh, I sold a bunch of those. I did great on that. But like, we never like account for the ones that I guess fell through the cracks or didn't sell. They just get lost in the mix, like you said. So I think we got to look at both ends, both sides.
Roger that.
Yeah. Do I think that based on category and perhaps deeper, you can show eBay that they can have confidence in you? I do, because the listing quality report will tell you received a negative or neutral in this category, let's say jackets. But like for t-shirts, they don't say that. So if you end up racking up a bunch of negative and neutrals in jackets or a bunch of returns in jackets, why would eBay funnel traffic to your jacket listings when you have displayed that you are not a competent seller in jackets? Why would they do that? The most expensive thing for eBay is to find the buyer that will convert on a sale for your listing. And if they keep showing the buyer that they're paying money to acquire, if they keep showing that buyer jackets that you get negative feedback from or always get returned, that would be foolish of eBay to do. Why? When they can go to Mike's store and Mike does a fantastic job with jackets and they have confidence that the buyer's going to get exactly what they ordered. They're going to be happy. They're going to come back to the platform and they're not going to return anything. I think you get a store-wide grade and a store-wide look. And I think it's also broken down by category as well.
That's what I was just going to ask.
That's why some people say, oh, I can never sell those, or, oh, I can't sell this. It's either you haven't portrayed that you can, or you've done in the past and it has not gone the way that eBay would prefer. So either you haven't shown them to have confidence or you have lost their confidence, is my opinion and how I look at it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Hope you're doing okay.
Yep. Thanks.
Yep. All right, Mike, we'll get to you in 1 second. Sarah said, do you have a default response for questions from buyers that involve opinion? For example, is this cobalt blue or is this midweight or heavyweight? Yeah, those questions are very difficult to answer. Regarding color, I tell them it's as pictured. And if that's unsatisfactory, I apologize, but I don't carry like my Sherwin-Williams color wheel with me to know if this is periwinkle or mother of pearl. It's as pictured. As far as weight goes, that's another tough one. It's not 100% of the time you are going to be in ingredients, but I try to explain that it's medium weight. It's not a thin windbreaker, and it's not a heavy duty workwear barn jacket. I try to fit in an example with it, but or you could just bust out the weight and say this thing weighs 2.4 ounces, 2 pounds, 4 ounces, and let them figure it out from there. But the opinion questions are difficult. They are subjective, and I like to stick to facts as much as possible. And I would say to try to do that as well. So Jay said, title structure question. If there was a name for that exact piece, would you put it towards the front, right at the brand, or use it as a second half, like Patagonia down with it vest versus Patagonia vest small black with it? So you want to structure your titles based on how the customer is going to search. Do you want to sell to the customer that is looking for a Patagonia with it vest? If you do, then you should title structure accordingly. Do you want to target the customer that searches Patagonia vest and happens to see yours and likes it and picks it up? Then you title your structure accordingly. The first one has a much narrow scope. The second one has a much wider scope. So even though you put with it as a keyword, your item will still show up in the search for the person that had the narrow search. So they will still see your item as well and know that it is a with it model because you have put that as a keyword. So for me, I like to do the wider scope. Everyone who searches for a Patagonia vest, I want them to see my listing. If you know what it is, you could buy it too. Rather than you know what it is, market only to them, and not have the best chance or show up as high as possible to the broadest range of people searching. Esteban says, what do you think of shipping orders to a PO box? If they paid, I ship. Ray said, what is the $1 to 100 sale that was mentioned? I don't think I heard about that. Christine, would you like to share?
I'm sorry, what was it?
The 1 to 100 exercise?
Oh, yes, yes. So what you do is you're going to go to the calculator that's available on the internet.
The eBay fees calculator. I'll link it below.
Okay, the eBay fee, and then what you're going to do is on a long sheet of paper that you can write it out the columns. You're going to go in and you're going to put in how much you pay for the item, what you sold the item for. You can just put all the information in there and then you just write it down so that you can see, okay, if I sell this for $14, my fees are going to be this, and this is how much my profit's going to be. And it's like our cheat sheet.
All the way from a $1 sale to a $100 sale. It will show your profit in increments all the way up so you can find your break-even point. You can find where you're comfortable profit-wise. And that way you know when an offer comes in, you look at your sheet, I'm going to make $12.71. This offer came in, I'm going to make $3.71. And then you can quickly assess whether or not that is an offer that you would like to accept or not. Right? We got it, Christine?
Yep.
Very good. Thank you. Okay. Matt said a keyword specific call would be great. Michelle does a fantastic job about that. And we will have a bunch of resources in the file section. I know my man Philip came back. Philip Crowder, the king of the file section. That file section will be popping. That guy's got all the resources. The flesh pony, the official keyword for the colored Ralph Lauren horse. Is there a better keyword? I'm not familiar what a flesh pony is. You would have to show me.
That's that little peach one.
Oh, I've never heard of it referred to as the flesh one.
That seems so weird.
Yeah, that's a weird. I've never heard of that one. I would go with
fleshy.
Yeah, peach is much better. Or some sort of other word aside from flesh. It's a little harsh for me. Tom says, has anyone had any issues shipping to Eastern countries during the war? And Brett posted some communication from eBay about some temporary pauses. Thank you. Thank you, Wayne. Russell says, clothing listings need cleaned per, same as shoes. Absolutely. If you are selling pre-owned clothing, by eBay guidelines, every single listing of eBay clothing should have the term cleaned per eBay standards. Every single listing should have that within the listing. Karen says they sold one item and they messaged for 40 more. I don't have the inventory, so I said no. Is this normal? And does eBay want us to communicate regarding bulk sales or just off the best site? You cannot sell off the platform. You would have to create a listing with 40, have them send an offer. or revise that listing to a higher quantity and send the offer. You cannot, under any circumstance, sell items off the platform. Jonathan says, what's the furthest you have driven, or how long was your route when you were sourcing yourself? The next step I need to take for my business is to drive 2 hours one way to the next city. So yeah, I mean, depending on where you live, you got to do what you got to do. I've driven as far away as like to North Florida to hit some garage or to hit some flea markets every now and then. It wasn't a regular thing, but it did happen. But for the route, I would say the farthest one was like an hour away, and then I just like worked my way back. But I did spend, you know, all of 50 hours a week at one point at the most aggressive that my listing goal was, sitting in a car driving to a bunch of stores. Matt says, what do you do when people ask for additional measurements? It would be best practice to provide those additional measurements, but that part is up to you. Oh, natural pony. There you go. You're thinking. And Nicholas said the term flesh pony has a great sell-through, so they might be onto something. Okay, there you go. There you go. Julie said her rule to date for unpaid items was to just cancel after a week. I never sent an invoice or reminder, as eBay said they were already doing it. I'm wondering if you see any benefit to mess with the buyer and ask if they're still interested in the item. So for me, every single morning, as part of my my rules for my business, waking up the store, I send invoices to everybody. If eBay wants to send them too, excellent. But I send invoices for everybody. I do not message them and ask them for payment. I used to do that when I was new, and a couple buyers were not pleased with that. So I stopped doing that, and I just send invoices. If you wanted to send a payment reminder, you may, but I did receive some pushback once upon a time for that. Nick says, would you go non-thrift toy and video game storefronts to source toys and video games? I would go wherever the items were to get them. Mike, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? This is fun. This is exciting. It's going to be cool to get all these things that you taught us move this way, like the 1 to 100 and all these. So some of us kind of veterans can, so it's gonna be fun for new people. I think a lot of value for people here if they just hang in there. I was gonna say just something funny. It's way past now, like, but I've been doing bed stuff and dinner for the kid. But earlier you had mentioned forgetting packages. I took my wife and kiddo up to Estes Park for a single night. I threw all the packages in the back, and I said, "Hey, let's go." We got the hotel. Just hit the post office on the way, and we didn't even touch the post office. We just started heading towards the mountains. And thankfully, like, I just yelled in the car. My wife's like, "What?" I said, "Oh, the packages are back here. We never went." And thankfully, the post office is kind of everywhere. So we found a small little town, and I was able to drop them off. So that's, you talked about that like 2 hours ago, I think, but I thought that was kind of relevant then. I asked a question about YouTube. I don't know if you even got to it yet. Because I can't tell, but I was just going to ask, in the YouTube process, just out of curiosity, are you like having a blast when you're editing? Are you enjoying that kind of creative part? Because I studied film in college. Before I left college, I got a job in the film business very long ago, but I used to use editing systems and everything. Are you like kind of loving that? What parts of YouTube are you like, this is fun? Like, what works well for your brain? What parts do you enjoy? I know your wife's doing like the filming, it seems.
I do enjoy the editing because I do like taking a humongous mess and arranging it in the correct order, and making it perfect. And I really enjoy doing that. I really enjoy arranging things and making them perfect.
Nice. And then in terms of the metrics and data that YouTube shows you? Are you excited to look at that from a business perspective? As anything like piquing your interest, or
I haven't really spent a lot of time figuring that stuff out. I'm just figuring out and trying my best to learn how to make videos that people want to watch, and I think the rest will shake out.
Agree. And then I also asked in that question if you had any teasers on what the next video is going to be about.
I'm not sure. I have a couple ready to go, but I'm not sure which one I'm going to release next. But I have two potential ones, but I'm not sure.
Nice. And I know I had some. Oh, the other thing I was going to say is with regards to returns, I'm correct in saying that you generally would encourage us to accept and have free returns if we could, correct? That was generally your teaching, like to have I accept returns on.
I believe that you should have free returns. If you can afford it. Now, does that mean free returns on a stove? Maybe not. If you can afford it, and if it is what the market and the category dictates. If you sell in a category where that is not expected or standard procedure, maybe you don't need it. You can do it to gain an edge, but maybe you don't need it. But I think if we put ourselves in the customer position, accepting returns, accepting free returns is the best that we could do for the customer. And at the end of the day, that is all of our jobs and all of our responsibilities to do the best that we can for the customer.
Awesome. I just want to kind of confirm that before I make my little last statement here. That's awesome. And I think as there is a lot of new people in here, I'm seeing a ton of new names I don't recognize and things like that. That is a shocker for a lot of people to make that switch. But you converted, I think, a ton of people where it worked for their business to that model of accepting returns. And most of us realize we really just don't get any issues with that being turned on. I will say this, though. I accidentally somehow created a few new listings, and I don't know if I accidentally mishit the button, but I turned off returns. So a few of my listings went up without returns. Both of those ended up being returns, one a false INAD and another changed my mind. So in all the last year or two having free returns, I've never had issues. The moment I put returns on, which was an accident, or no returns on, I have two issues right now that I'm fighting with. Thankfully, my tail is covered because I did everything right. But it was just kind of ironic that I ended up getting two returns on these couple accidental ones I listed that say no returns. Anyways, thanks, man.
Very, very good. Thank you, sir. Kayla?
In the past, you've encouraged us not to make changes when things are going well, correct?
So if things are going well, do something completely different as being the alternative?
Yeah, like you've said, like, well, like, if things are going well, don't
Just
go
do
and
that?
change things up. Yeah, just
Yeah,
do
if
that.
things are going well, just do that, rather than if things are going well, do something totally opposite for no reason. I'll subscribe to that.
Okay. So I struggle with, like, things are going well for me, but I struggle with the thought of, like, well, how do I know if it wouldn't be better if I did X, Y, or Z?
Uh-huh.
So, like, how do you combat that? Do you run, like, if you think, okay, maybe this will be better, let me run a test on it. Is that how you would process that out, or would you just not even entertain anything if things are going fine?
I would run a small test. However, I would not jeopardize with what is working and what I got going on.
Okay. So I've been picking up men's suits and blazers, and I noticed that it's about 50-50 on what other people are posting. Like 50% of the people are using mannequins or hangers, and about 50% are not, are doing flat lay. And so I've wondered, like, should I try the mannequin or the hanger method, which would completely switch up my photo setup and process? Or should I just stick with the flat lay and see? And because it's working, I mean, I'm selling them, but how do I know if it wouldn't work better if they were presented in a different way given the category?
I think you kind of answered your own question. You know that that category dictates a different presentation for the likelihood of the best results. I would experiment if you think that you're going to continue moving forward in this category.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Megan said, does your store reindex if the eBay technical group is working on your store? I have an ongoing issue with my promotions tab. Called them yesterday to have them take a look and my sales were trash. I don't, nobody really knows what eBay does on their end. I mean, one day is a small sample size and it's hard to take any kind of data and figure it out, because we're not in business for one day. We're in business for 365 days. If it is continued and if it is a pattern, then that's something that could be reassessed. But nobody has any idea if eBay fixing something has any correlation to you not having good performance on whatever day, because someone else can post right now and say, I called eBay to fix an issue. They said they fixed it and my sales were incredible. And like, then what? Who do you believe, or what can we gather from that? So for what we know as just users of the site, that's an unknown. I guess you just keep trying to do the best that you can. And just doing the best practices. All right, Christine.
So this week, I wasn't aware of the group room change, so I didn't get in when you first started. How long are you able to get in there? I want to get in the group the next time. I don't want to be locked out. What is
What are you
that called?
talking about? On the call?
Yeah. Your call. Like when the
Yeah.
group first started, I wasn't able to get in because of $300 amount.
Sure. Right. So that is the room max. The next highest room is an enterprise room, which like they use for Google, and they don't even tell you how much that costs. You have to like call them and get the price. I believe that this first call is an anomaly and we will never again have 300 people on the call. So I don't think it is anything to worry about at this time. You know how everything goes. Everyone's excited to be here, and then it'll be just like always. It'll be us same 100 folks talking our talk, and it'll be fine. If in the event that there is always 100 people ready and willing and excited to learn about eBay, I will take the steps that I need to take to be able to facilitate all of you fine, excited, eager eBay resellers.
Okay, so that I can be eager and ready. You get into the group like 5 minutes early.
Yeah, and people come and go, come and go, come and go. I usually start the call anywhere from 15 to 5 minutes early. But this, I believe,
right?
yeah, this I believe is going to be a 24-hour co-working room available to everybody. So I believe that there is no more like getting into the room. It is what it is. Yep, thank you. All right. Anything else? This will be final call for questions. Seems like we're kind of wrapping up. And maybe time to stick a fork in this thing.
You said you're going to do another call next Tuesday?
I will.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate everybody for hanging in there this long. I will put some sort of document together. I don't know if that will be today or tomorrow, but that will get done. It's on the list of things to do. If the document is not up and ready, I will repost this replay as just a link in the group. And if you missed the beginning, you missed a part, you missed a piece, or if you just want to listen again, you're more than welcome to listen to it again. As always, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I hope everybody could do their best. And if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the Facebook group. It's going to be a little rocky because everyone is saying thank you for joining, which we don't have to say. Thank you. You're welcome. Just let's post eBay related content. Let's answer some questions. And if you don't know the answer, you don't have to say anything. Just walk past it. That question is not for you. I will answer all the questions. I will make a disclaimer. There's a lot of thank you. I great to be joining. So the questions are kind of hard to kind of hard to see with everything that's going on, but I am trying my best. And you're welcome to tag me. I will find it, but I promise you, once all of the I'm so glad to be here, thank you, thank you, thank you. Once all of those are gone, I'll be on top of every single question that's here. So I appreciate it.